Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
Hi.
You're not Josh.
Josh.
That's my partner who I do these with. Who are you? What's going on? Where's Matt?
Who? Are you?
No, I'm not coming in.
I hacked his account, so I wanted to see what this is all about, the crossover return.
And what do you think?
I just got on. I feel like, what are we doing? We're not entertaining.
Oh, I think we are.
No, Chris, you just want to say hello, buddy.
No, I did. Hi, I just wanted to
Oh, wait,
say
who do we got coming? Oh, there he is. There he is. That's my guy, Josh.
the man of the hour.
What is happening?
What is up?
What's up?
We just
Hey, Shyne.
popped in to say hello. That's all. How are you guys?
Well,
What's
I
up,
think
Matt?
I saw it on a comment. Drake said that boy Shyne is too rich.
What?
Can you confirm or deny that, Shyne?
What do you? Drake said I'm too rich.
Yeah, he said you're too rich.
Funny.
What's going on, man? How are you? What are you doing? You look like you're having a good Friday night.
Man, listen, I finally got in Florida. I got to Florida today.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm good. I'm just dizzy, man. I've been moving too much.
Nice. You didn't pull that triple logo, man, and you're quietly sitting on it, did you?
I still have my 15 cases. I'll let it be known right now before nobody knows this. But Drake and I are going to be getting together soon and opening all my cases.
Ooh, all of them, all 15?
Yes, they're like, I'm convinced something's in that puppy, in those puppies. You know?
Do you believe the triple hasn't been pulled yet? Is that what your position is?
I mean,
I'd have to assume it's not because I feel like if it was, you have to have a lot of. I mean, most people would pull it. They're going to be screaming, "Oh, I hit it!" You know. So
Yeah.
the only way it was pulled and nobody's talking about it is if it's like some real hush guy overseas. Anybody over here in the States, man, they can't wait to scream.
Yeah.
No doubt,
Sell
man.
that thing. Sell that thing.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting when that card's hit, though.
Oh, we're all waiting for it, man. Like, it's almost gotten to the point where it's frustrating that it hasn't come out yet. Shyne,
Yes.
thank you for popping in, man.
Okay.
See you, buddy.
You guys have a good night.
All right. Josh, I saw a quick request, and I was like, damn, Josh is quick tonight, but it wasn't you.
You were quick to hit accept. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
you're
all right.
cheating on me already. She found someone with a little bit more money than me, and you just got a little excited there.
I got a little too excited. All right. We have so many topics to go over and some controversial ones for this week, right? So, but let's do our ordinary content for the people. So, mail days. Do you have any mail days?
I do. This is not ordinary, so don't categorize me with your stupid words. Our ordinary part. This is no ordinary mail day, sir.
Okay, let's go. Not the cards aren't ordinary. It's just the ordinary part of our show.
I know, I'm just giving you shit. Calm down. All right. I think I showed this last time, but just in case, very quickly, because it's here.
It's worth. You can show that card twice.
I think I showed it. I'm pretty sure I showed it, but it's here, and I'm still waiting to crack it, and I don't.
Josh,
I'm
quick question. Yes. Oh, you're cracking it, of course. A quick question. In a one-on-one basketball game 2-11, who would win, Tim or James?
Tim who and James who?
It doesn't matter. Just take one or the other.
Oh, those two names?
Yeah.
James is the first name?
Yep.
Oof. That doesn't help. Oh, I don't know. I'll say James. James sounds like someone at that age range that makes it seem like they would be. And Tim maybe sounds like in his late 40s.
Wow, you have no idea how spot on that is. All right, thank you for weighing in, Josh. Sorry to interrupt the mail day. Please continue.
That was the most random thing I've ever heard. All right. Okay. I'm trying to recover from that. James and Tim. All right. 2008 Topps Chrome. I've had the 9 before, but I just couldn't, I got bored of the 9, so I sold it. And then I got a 10 instead. I got this pretty cheap. I think you saw that. I got it. I felt kind of cheap. These are out of 50. Pop like 4, I think. I think I paid like $2K. That stuff is so cheap for. Oh, check this out. You're not seeing. You're not confused, sir.
Oh, you have half the pop.
No, yeah. So Nat Turner sent me this today. So thanks, Nat. He's like, "Hey, I got something coming your way," and I was like, "Wait a minute. How did he?" I was so confused too. I was like, "No, wait. I still have the other one. I do. I have them both." PSA 7. He knows I like the lower grade PSAs. So thank you, Nat. And these are the new ones. I showed these already in a live and everything. So not a big shock. But
flex them again, man. These are such beautiful cards.
Do you like the Bowman? Bowman doesn't get much attention, it's like Prism or Chrome, and even Finest gets way more than Bowman, but
I think the design is terrific. I love the design.
Yeah. And then my favorite is the 2006 Finest. These things are just very, very, very gold and shiny, so I like that one. This one's 37 out of 50. These are numbered pretty high for your taste. There's a lot of these floating around, 50, like there's basically, it feels like there's thousands, so.
Well, beautiful cards, buddy. Absolutely beautiful cards. Something we've talked about previously is that once the Topps products begin manufacturing league licensed basketball again, those flagship Topps brands, Topps Chrome, Topps Paper, Bowman Chrome, those are going to become super relevant again. And hopefully it'll put a spotlight back on some of those great releases from before. Do you agree?
I mean, in the meantime, I'm just having fun with it because there's not much competition. It's kind of just me against myself, so I'm enjoying it.
Right on. All right, I've got some mail days to run through as well. We'll start with this one. This is a Nikola Jokic 2020 Gold PSA 9. It now goes with these two. So now I have 3 of the 6 playing years Jokic Prism Golds. I actually have 2 copies of the 2019 as well. I got this in the mail. This all came in while we were in Vegas. This is the 2018 Luck of the Lottery Prism Gold Miles Bridges. BGS 9.5. This guy's a really hilarious player to watch. Putting it together with these 2 plus the Luka and BGS 9.5, I've got 4 of the 15 cards now from the Luck of the Lottery 2018 Prism Gold. This guy came in 2020 Prism Gold Le'Veon Bell PSA 9, just keeping it light. Little Le'Veon Bell. Then a 2015 Prism Gold Le'Veon Bell came in as well. And then finally, 2017 Panini Black. Just the straight-up Panini paper set, Christian McCaffrey, rookie 1 of 1. The condition is actually abysmal. I was actually surprised at how terrible the condition is on it. But what are you going to do? It's a McCaffrey 1 of 1 rookie. All right, so those were my mail days as well.
Do we like gold cards or what?
I don't know. That's tough call.
I have 5 gold. You have 5 gold.
Okay. All right. Announcements. Do we have any card ladder or business related announcements to make?
Yeah. Hold on. I do. Let me turn it back around here.
By the way, Christina is sick. She is not in the office right now. She's isolated. She's got like the flu or a cold, but she's not going to be joining us tonight.
Oh, weird, because I'm sick and I'm here. Just kidding. I'm at the end of my sickness. You can kind of hear it in my voice, but I'm at the end of it.
Good.
All right. So why is it? Oh no, it's fine. So on sales history, oh, she's in the chat. I added something this week where on the sales history it'll actually show you similar cards. So because I was using sales history the other day, I found a card and I was pretty sure we had it in the ladder, and I wanted to like check our comps on it and like see what sort of all-time sales history there was on a, a similar card to what I was looking for. And so that's what I was thinking here. So like if you click on a card, it'll basically show you like the other grades of the card if we have it, or it'll show you similar cards, so you can kind of get an idea for other cards that we do have in our system, and you can compare cards and stuff that way. It's pretty helpful actually if you find something kind of random. That's it on sales history. It's on the mobile app too. That's already live. The other thing was Showcase. I think you posted about this in your story, but we gave Showcase kind of a little bit of an update. So now oh look, there's David Riverfront. So if you click on the card, you can actually click straight on the owner.
Dio just put a new card in there. Let's go, Dio.
It takes you to like a user profile page where you can actually like save the link and share it with other people to their specific user profile page. And Dio made his stuff private, so I can't show you how to DM. Oh, he's adding stuff right now. Look at this guy.
What's up, David? You watching and adding at the same time, man?
He is. Oh, we got to find someone with more in their collection.
Maybe we'll tell a story or two about Dio when we recap the mints. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that seems reasonable. What the heck? Sorry. And then we also made Showcase available on the free site. So if you're not a paying member,
that's huge. Showcase is now available on the free site as well. How many cards are in Showcase now? There's well over 10,000, right?
There's so many.
So many. I mean, it's not a marketplace, but I think it's maybe it's one of the top 5 biggest displays of cards that you can find online in one place.
Totally. And then if you have multiple collections, they're just like tabs now, so you can actually get to other people's collections much quicker than before. It's just a lot better organized. So just check out Showcase. Everything's much cleaner, and you can find stuff faster. There's like links to cards and the rest of the cards in the collection. It's easier to navigate. Did you mess with it? Did you notice it's easier, better?
Oh yeah, I did. It's much easier on the eyes now too. It's a lot of fun browsing Showcase. I mean, shout out MCPC. He says that's his Emmett credentials in there. I mean, dude, there are so many badass cards in Showcase. It actually Showcase actually sucked me in, and I ended up buying a gigantic card out of the Showcase. So,
dude, you bet. Christina's not here to throw stuff at you, so I'll do it. Just shut your mouth.
Okay.
You gotta stop right there, bro. Got it. All right. I'll distract the people. I'm working on this. I'm almost done. So just everyone's been asking for CSV upload. I'm almost done.
Nice. Beautiful, man.
Begrudgingly, I'm almost done. Begrudgingly.
Well, amazing work as usual. You and Cole, you guys do great stuff, man. Is that it on the card ladder front? Just 3 or 4 major updates this week? That's all?
I'm anxious to get going, dude.
All right, let's get going. Well, first up, I put the mint recap. And I guess the first part of the mints, so for those who are unaware, Collectible and eBay presented the Mint Collective trade show and sports card show last weekend in Las Vegas, and it was an amazing time. But I guess first we'll start with people got sick. I see Edward from Investicard in the chat says he got sick. Christina got sick. Josh.
I knew it. I freaking knew it. Dude, we don't see people ever in public anymore. So when I do go in public, it's just like the germs just take over. That's how it is.
Yeah, so Stiff Arm Wax, who's in the chat as well, is working on making what will undoubtedly be the industry-leading recap of the events. I know he's working on it right now. But in anticipation of that and to tide the people over until his video comes out, let's just talk a little bit. So Collectors League, Jeremy Allen writes in and says, could just talk about the Mint. So you want to give a little recap of your experience at the Mint?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, it was a great job by Collectible and IMG putting that show on. I think they did a great job selecting Vegas. I think it's pretty easy for people to be critical of this show because of Vegas, because of the fact it was less focused on the cards and more about the businesses. But I thought that's what it was supposed to be, and so that's what it was for me as well. I thought it was a great job, focused on the companies in the industry, and I thought it was a really clean show. I thought it was like really well put together, really well organized. It felt less like a stuffy, card show and more of like a tech conference or something. there was panels that you could go see, and so it was much more of a traditional conference. But there was still a lot of great cards. I'd say the quality of cards was the same as a regular card show, just the quantity was much, much less, which is good to hear that they were able to keep the quality up. There was like Mike Kantz was there, Justin 610 Sports Cards. Those guys have huge stuff. The Lucky Shoji, his entire like Steph Curry collection was there. So there was big stuff. I saw like
LeBron. She didn't have any of his NFTs on display. That would have been. Oh, I guess you can't really display those, can you?
Well, the Top Shot guys across from us thankfully had their Top Shots in the acrylic glass things or whatever. So right. That was thankfully we could see the NFTs that way.
Thankfully.
No, I thought, like I always say at these shows, people always, want to know if they should go based on the card selection. I always, temper people's expectations, and I say kind of go for the, your friends and the social aspect of it. And I thought this kind of really like focused on the social aspect of it. So that was, honestly like kind of more fun for me. But what did you think?
Well, Mama Breaks wants to know, why was everybody at the Mint so tall? Can you answer?
There was a lot of tall people, man. It's a tall hobby.
It's a tall hobby.
I have a theory about that.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Athletes are tall. We like things that we relate to, such as sports. We play sports and we collect cards from sports. We're tall.
I think that's about right. I'd say there's a decent chance that people involved in the hobby played sports at some level, some organized level. A couple of thoughts on the Mint. We'll just maybe go down topic by topic because I bet you've got some takes on some of these as well. First of all, it was nice to see the old boys and girls that we're friends with. It was just nice to see everybody. Whenever we get together, it's like, even though it's been 6 months, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like we just pick up right where we left off, which is nice. Do you agree?
Yeah, of course. Except David. I wanted to make sure I pointed that out.
Except David. All right, except for David. I got to see a bunch of the buds from Clubhouse who I've become pretty close with over the last year. So, matter of fact, a group of them actually started following you around. Fortunately, you were en route to meeting with Christina and I, who were sitting down eating. And so you were able to just like scurry up to the table because you had no idea who these guys were. They were just shouting your name. Isn't that right?
I think I was hiding under the table.
So it was really nice to see everybody. I don't want to get into listing everybody because, I would forget somebody and I don't want to do that. But so many great people that we saw and met and reconnected with. Okay, Edward says, let's hear about the craps run. Matter of fact, David, if you're out there, do you want to just join the live for just 2 minutes, man, and we could talk about that first night? That was my first night ever playing craps. David, if you're out there, send a request to join. Or matter of fact, I'll just send David a little request. And
first, I can't believe you've gone this long without telling the people about the big secret you found out about craps.
Well, you taught me about it, so I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, that was one of my favorite parts of the show. Was we were talking to random people, and you'd give them your elevator pitch on craps.
Well, I just believe in playing the field. Can you explain to the people what the field is?
The field is like you can bet on it anytime. You don't even have to be in the game. I didn't tell you that part. You literally don't even have to be in the game. You can just put money on the field at any point. It's like roulette, basically. And if you roll 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, you win. Anything else, you lose. 2 pays double, 12 pays triple. And we were on fire with the field the first night, and then I don't think we won it ever again.
We ran into a tough stretch of luck on every night other than the first night. But I remember on the first night, one of the slogans that David taught me was, when you're rolling craps, even if you don't hit the number you're looking for, as long as you don't crap out, with a 7, you're making people money along the way. So and then you said, well, craps is really a team sport, right? So
yeah,
I sent Front Collectibles an invitation, by the way. I don't know if he'll join.
The only difference between the first night when we were winning and the other nights when we were losing was the energy, the alcohol. and the, sort of like the game, the sport we made of it, where we were trying to pick your players' jersey numbers to get the dice we wanted, right? Like we wanted 3 3s, so we were hoping for Larry Bird, 44, Lewis Hamilton, etc. So that part kind of made, the first night was great, and we were just obviously on fire, and then the last 2 nights not as good.
Yeah, well, there was one roll of mine that was very memorable, needed a 9, and so I said, before I rolled, I said, Michael Jordan, 1994, for the 45 jersey, 4 and 5 is 9, and sure enough, not only did 9 come up, but so did the 4 and the 5, so that was a lot of fun.
Vic says the field is for suckers. Maybe he might be right.
Still haven't really run the numbers yet, but man, it seems like a pretty good deal, doesn't it?
I don't know if we're gonna call someone a sucker for playing something in Vegas. I'll just say like all of gambling is for suckers. So if we're gonna go that path, I'll take it all the way.
Okay. What about Peyton Manning? All right, Peyton Manning was part of the very first panel. Ezra gave an excellent introduction to the event. They had a really cool video that used some of Stiff Arm Wax's footage from the National and his documentary about the National from last year. Ezra gave a great opening speech, and then he sat down and conducted an interview that included Josh Luber and Peyton Manning. So what do you think about Peyton Manning? Talk to me about Peyton.
Yeah, I thought he was terrific. A lot of those guys, or some of those guys I would assume that are, famous and funny on TV, you don't necessarily what you're going to get in person, but he was just as funny in person. He was very, very good at the improv. Like he was just hitting the jokes left and right. I thought he kept that first one really light and fun. And then, him and Luber had the whole back and forth about Luber winning the auction for the 2000 Peyton Manning cards, and then Luber gifted Peyton 2,000 cards of himself, ended up giving cards to Peyton's kid. And there were some jokes about that back and forth. I thought it was hilarious. I thought he did a pretty good job tying it back to cards. It's obvious he's not like deep in the hobby, but he was able to kind of relate it to the hobby as much as he could. And he was talking about like his rookie cards, and he was telling stories about jumping on the trampoline at the photo shoot day to get some of the pictures on the cards. And I think he said he remembered some of, seeing some of the cards. He remembered taking the pictures and, remembering being there with like Randy Moss and Charles Woodson. So fun stories from Peyton, and he's a great entertainer.
Great entertainer. I was actually kind of like boxing out for Nick when he was filming Peyton after Peyton was walking off stage. And so I got to see Peyton up close interacting with kids and fans, and he was the most gracious, just an absolute class act, a total role model in every sense of the word. Really impressive guy, I agree. Peyton also said his son is a collector of game-used memorabilia. I guess his son is pretty big on collecting Josh Allen or something like that, so that was pretty neat.
I think Josh Allen sent him a gamer.
Yeah, exactly. But the perks of being a collector and your dad is the guy who has the most MVPs in NFL history. Okay, Josh Luber. Josh Luber was part of the first panel with Peyton Manning. Then he also was part of the last panel, which was a panel with Christina, you, and myself about data in the hobby. So what did you think about what Josh Luber had to say in his presence at the event?
I thought it was good. He spoke obviously about the whole Fanatics thing, and his main goal there was to speak to different card shop owners to, try to work through some of the potential upcoming things to work through with card shop owners and how we can keep that sustainable and moving forward with a new manufacturer. So he took that seriously, which was good to see. And he talked about that quite a bit. And then our panel, we talked, about the V-Friends stuff and kind of the future. And I had, given him some praise about the way that they ran the process in the first release and how they had released the data around it. And it was all very transparent and well executed. The software was strong. And I like the reverse, what is it? Is it the blind Dutch auction? And then, he was pretty he was really good in the back and forth with Peyton. So also entertaining.
Right on. Okay. Dormant Stash asks, who was your favorite speaker at the Mint?
Speaker? Oh, Gene McLeod.
Why is that?
Because she designed the best cards ever created, and this was like the first conference really where we got to hear from some of these like leaders and creators from all these different eras. And that's like asking me who's my favorite basketball player, and I went and saw like a tournament of all the best basketball teams. Like I was LeBron anyways.
Yeah. No, I mean, God, Gene is such a classy, sophisticated, thoughtful artist who makes our industry look terrific. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I thought like her and Carvin next to each other was also pretty entertaining.
Yes,
because
it
it's
was.
like my two favorite eras, Carvin and her, and it's just really cool. I've said it before in the show. It's just really cool that we have those people around, and we have some of those. You know, the hobby just like pulls them back in. Like they just can't get away from it because it's just so exciting and so fun. And you know, and I think that's why it's important for people like us to kind of keep continuously reminding people of how this hobby was built and you know how we got to this point, because it keeps those people engaged. It keeps everyone kind of, you know, rebooting and continuing to have fun with it. And really that's what it's about. So I can't not continuously just bring up those people's names.
Did we get a chance to look very closely? I mean, I remember you and I came near the Jackass cards booth that Zero Cool had set up. Quentin wants to know, did you have any thoughts on the Jackass cards?
They look pretty cool. I mean, I'm admittedly not much of a Jackass fan either, but they looked nice. The autographs looked good. I think the display of the actual like box again was like unique and different and fun. So for Jackass fans, I think it could be a cool product. We were talking about in the room, you and Christina were trying to figure out like what's like a cool cultural thing we would want to see, and we rattled off like a bunch of ideas. So I think they're just going to keep going through different ideas, and you know, eventually like there'll be something for us.
What'd you think about, because you were at one of the panels that may have had some interesting moments, and the great Jordan Silverberg had some questions for some of those content creators. Why don't you describe what it was like being in that room for a minute?
The legendary Fat Snacks, Jordan. Yeah, he was going ham on some people. He was questioning the VHS, rightfully so. And it kind of got the room kind of riled up a little bit and got him like, it was kind of a dull chat for a little bit, but he got it going and got everyone like fired up to talk about stuff. So, you know, he's definitely used to the driving the content game through Clubhouse. So this is kind of his lane.
No doubt. Also from that panel that featured Carvin and Gene was Kevin Jiraj, who told the story behind selecting the photo for this card. What'd you think about that anecdote?
Why don't you tell that one?
Well, long story short, he basically was struggling to find a photograph of Zion that was full body and that would fit on the side of the card. Yeah, just because Zion is a wider, bigger player relative to most other basketball athletes, and he wanted a photo that captured Zion doing something that's characteristic of his game, which obviously is dunking. So we selected the photo, and it came out for the design. It looked like this, and then he took it around Panini's headquarters and made sure everybody thought it looked good before they went ahead and printed it, because he knew how momentous of a card that was. So pretty neat story, you know, hearing about how this photo was selected for one of the hobby's most important RPAs. What's up, Adam?
What's up, Adam? My favorite part of that is just like the awareness from the creators of like how important this card is when they print it, not only like the day that they print it and when they release it, but also like going forward in the hobby and how it's going to be basically like this new staple card potentially for the next few years, depending on the rookie classes upcoming. But I just love knowing that they're thinking about that kind of stuff, because, you know, we don't want these designers and creators to just like print this stuff and forget about it and not have any emotional attachment to it. We want to know that they can feel the excitement around it just as much as we do. So
absolutely. All right, final question on the Mint. South Park Cards 2 says, what is your favorite thing that you did at the Mint or in Las Vegas in general?
I mean, just hanging out with friends, you know. Like I really enjoyed that night. We were all like, our team was hanging out in the hotel, telling stories, talking shit, and then the dinner with Dio and the My Slabs team with Matt. That was great. Obviously, and then just, you know, hanging out with Justin, walking the show, all that stuff. You know, like, and that never gets old.
Yeah, Christina points out that DJ Ski rounded out her art panel. He was awesome as well. I'll go ahead and say that I really enjoyed the dinner that My Slabs hosted on Saturday night. And Rodman Martinez was there. For those of you who know Rodman PC, I took the opportunity in person to point out how similar he looks to Omar Navarro from Ozarks. So that may have been the peak of the trip for me, was just being able to figure out if he actually is the actor who portrays Omar Navarro. And I'm still not sure. Even
Was that a picture of Rodman or the character?
Exactly. I'll just leave it at that. All right.
Glad it wasn't a tag team.
All right. So look, I'm actually not very fired up. I was much more fired up earlier today. I'm not that fired up right now, but I think we'll try to get fired up because a lot of questions came in about the story posts today. So let me just read what I wrote, and then we'll get some of the questions. So here's what I said. I said, there are no more sneakerheads and retail flippers to bring into the hobby. The next phase of growth will require convincing serious investors that this is a legitimate asset class. So pretend for a moment that you're a serious investor thinking about coming into sports cards. What's the first thing that you see when you start looking into sports cards on YouTube? Or what's the first thing you see when you Google something like investing in sports cards? And just think about that. That's a rhetorical question. So during the 90s, Dr. Jim Beckett, who was a statistician and a former professor, he was the face of the hobby. And he legitimized the hobby and he developed it through his magazines and his price guides, which had distribution in the many millions across the different sports. And we don't have a Jim Beckett right now, but we do have a clown show on YouTube that is likely repelling serious people from entering the hobby. So, and this is key, for those of you who care about your card values increasing over time, it's time to support the thinkers in our space who produce research and scholarship, who are going to bring in the Michael Saylors of the world, who are looking at alternative asset classes. And more importantly, it's time to shun and reject the cornball influencer content, which is actively repelling the Michael Saylors of the world. There was once a time when it was cute to say, oh, but at least the cornball content, it's bringing in new people. At least it's doing that, right? Well, guess what? We've had a few years of that. Now we're reaping what we sowed. And in evolutionary terms, we have selected for people who enjoy the cornball content, and we have filtered out and we pushed away the people who avoid it. We have pushed away serious investors from this space for the last 2 years. And so you wonder why your card values are stagnated or going down lately? This is why. It's because we can't attract the next level of people because the faces of our hobby right now are an absolute embarrassment that no serious person would ever want to be associated with. So bottom line, it's not too late to change the trajectory of the hobby. It's not too late, in my opinion. But what we absolutely have to do is grow a backbone and tell the snake oil salesmen to leave this hobby, or else they will remain the face of our hobby. And more importantly, they will continue stunting the growth of the hobby. All right, that was my rant from today, reenacted for the Instagram live audience. All right, do you want to react to it?
No, I have follow-up questions for you. This is your thing, so I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
I'll give you my reaction after. You know, what if people's reaction might be like, oh, he's just having fun with it. You know, he's just like being silly. This is his April Fool's thing. And it's not meant to, he's not like purposely trying to deter people from the hobby or harm the hobby. What is your reaction? What's your response?
Well, first of all, like my little diatribe from today is more general. It's not aimed at any one person, any one piece of content. But that's a good example because, you know, what are we doing here? What are we sacrificing at the expense of, you know, hey, let me get some clout, let me play some inside jokes, let me, you know, make light of situations that are actually pretty serious. Let me try and, you know, divert attention away from the fact that there's some real ethical issues with pump and dump schemes. You know, once again, I'm not targeting anybody in specific. I think the problem is generic. we don't have anything in the content space that when you first come into the hobby suggests that this is a serious industry or that this is a place where serious investments are being directed. Instead, the content that we have feels very much like this is the shop at home network. It feels very much like this is telemarketing. The content feels like cornball infomercials. The investments that are being marketed have all absolutely tanked. You know, at a certain point, we just have to say, this is not serious content. This is not the type of content that's going to get us legitimized as an alternative asset class.
I think people know you by now, Chris. They know the content that you bring, the seriousness, and the data that you bring in your stories. And how much of this? How seriously are you taking this? Like, what? I know that we talk about like the hobby being a lot of fun, and we try to keep things light on the show a lot. But this for you is kind of like your sensitive point. It's actually like being pretty fired up. So what is it about this specifically that has you so fired up?
It's dead ass serious, and I'll tell you why. This is such a serious topic because you and me are collectors, so in a certain sense, the fact that values have been going down for the last year is good. We're not bemoaning that. We're enjoying. You just saw how many mail days you and I had over the last week. We're buying lots of cards. I bought the biggest card I've ever bought, and I'm going to be picking it up in 3 weeks. And I'll reveal that mail day. I'm so excited about it. It's the most money I've ever spent on a card by an order of magnitude. But, I'm loving this moment in the hobby right now. But if we just get serious for a second, we do want this to be legitimized as an asset class. That's the trajectory that it's on, and we want to see that happen. And card values have been tanking or stagnating for last year. And why is that? And one of my main theses for why that is because we have no content and no framework built up for content that would convince a person like a Michael Saylor or a serious investor who has $500 million and he's looking to deploy it somewhere. If he dips a toe into sports cards and says, let's see what's out there. Let's just punch this into Google. Let's punch this into YouTube and see what type of thought leadership exists in this space. The first content that the algorithm is going to deliver to him is absolute trash. It's not serious. It's gimmicky. It's corny. It's not made by people who know very much about this hobby. And it's going to repel and turn serious investors away. We've gotten as far as we can go with the retail flippers and with the shoe sneakerheads. The point was made to me earlier today that, look, one of the reasons why prices have been going down the last year is because the only people who were courageous enough to dip a toe into the hobby who didn't already have a connection to it were people who are just overly open-minded and will just throw money at anything, even if it seems silly. They'll just take a chance on it. But then those people got sucked away into NFTs because the NFT world also is a magnet for these super open-minded flippers who just don't really need a lot of convincing or a lot of substance in order to come in. And so we've actually lost a certain subset of the market to NFTs because, NFTs is appealing to those same sneakerheads, retail flipper types of people. It's just a different world. So what we haven't done over the last few years is because our content is so garbage and because YouTube and the content world is such a clown show, we have been pushing away serious people. And so the fact that we've allowed the face of our industry to be who it is for this long is costing us all a lot of money. At this point in time, our collection values are suffering because we have clowns who are the face of the sports card industry. It's actively costing every single collector collection value. And like I said, I know some people are happy about that. In a certain sense, I'm happy about that. But if we ever want to take the next step and grow and legitimize ourselves as an asset class, as an investment category, we cannot have these clowns scaring away serious people who look at this industry and say, wow, this looks like a joke.
So, I'm big on action items and doing stuff and, taking action. What can we do? What can I don't want to say like the average collector. I don't want to call people average, but like what can everyone do? And then what can like content creators and also like maybe name a couple of content creators that you'd like to spotlight as like directing some of our attention towards?
Well, I'm actually hesitant to do that because I've done that a few times and it backfires. And people who you think are great content creators end up aligning elsewhere. So like, look, there are a lot of great content creators out there. I'll just throw some random bones. How about 90s basketball cards, 90s b-ball cards, Jake? Dude, Jake makes content that is great for investors because it's information rich. Jake's content is going to teach you about different products and sets from the 90s that you're just not going to get that information anywhere else unless you want to research it yourself on Cardboard Connection or on the message boards, and that can be a very dry thing. So I'll just shout out a guy like Jake who's just stayed the course. He's been there making content for 3 to 4 years on YouTube. His flavor has never changed. His approach has never changed. His content has been rock solid and consistent. If you want to know about 90s basketball cards, you want to know about the rare products, you want to see a couple of packs get opened, you want to know about pack odds and the history of these products, shout out Jake. I feel like that's a guy who I can safely put a spotlight on and know he's not going to pivot and go into some, bogus content.
I mean, you could easily throw the Jim Beckett podcast on there. We talked about at the beginning of the show. If he was the face of the hobby for a long time, and he still can be if you watch his podcast. Wax Museum, Kyle, I think he's at a similar level as Jake in terms of the consistency and you know what you're going to get out of it. I think Brett Stacking Slabs does a great job being consistent. There's a few. Again, to your point, like we don't want to call out and potentially leave some people out as well. What else? What can people do?
Well, we need to get a lot more serious about the content that we make. Right now it's a lot of fun and games, and the podcasts are done by people who are professionals in other industries, and it's not really their job or their responsibility to produce high level thoughtful works. But dude, there's not a single text out there that can explain the theories of why cards have value and sketch out some of the philosophies behind buying certain cards and give explanations after the fact for why certain price movements happen. And honestly, the text and the philosophical works, those don't need to be definitive. It just, people need a starting place. So like, let's say I were to write this text, and by the way, a text should be properly footnoted. It should be publishable material. So let's say I were to come out with this text, and I said, hey, look, here's the philosophy behind why Tom Brady cards have done so well over the last 2 years. The reader doesn't have to agree with my philosophy. They don't have to agree with it. But my philosophy provides a starting point for a discourse that then that reader can take it and they can reply to it and they can build on it and sort of make it into their own philosophy as well. So we need serious works that, when a serious person decides they'd like to take a look at the sports card industry, we can just say, here you go. Here is your starting place. Start here. Because right now, the content that's being pushed out, even on the book level, it very much has the get-rich-quick self-help book feel to it. And that's not what we need. We don't need that. Then that's not the demographic that we're seeking to attract. We need the serious, scholarly demographic. Those are the people that we ultimately need to be attracting next. And here's the thing, right? Here's what I love about the Michael Saylor comparison. So Michael Saylor had around $500 million to spend that he wanted to move out of cash and put into something else in the summer of 2020. And he settled on Bitcoin because the Austrian economist that he was reading recommended Bitcoin. Serious intellectuals recommended Bitcoin, and he went with it. Well, guess what? If Michael Saylor had invested into football cards rather than Bitcoin, he would have nearly done twice as good on his investment. The football cards, I think, went up like 6x over the same time span that Bitcoin went up like 4. So that's the other thing, too, is like we have these data, we have these empirical offerings that can actually demonstrate the market legitimacy of sports cards, but just there's nobody conveying that outside of you and myself, quite frankly.
There's a really great podcast that I listen to for like my update on sort of like the stock market, economics, general like politics and the world really, and it's called the All In podcast, and it's very serious. They're very like they're very like rich guys. They're mostly like private equity investors, and they own companies, and they're just very serious people. And like, I just feel like I'm very confident in what they have to say, and I feel like I learn a lot about the economy, and I learn a lot about all these fancy terms people throw at me, and I can kind of like digest it and learn, and I feel confident in what they say about where America's moving in terms of their relationships with other countries, etc. I just feel like we need more of that. Like, we just need more podcasts and stuff that are like focused on the dynamics of the entire market and focused on like the future of the hobby. And I was always kind of nervous to make Cardboard Chronicles that kind of show, because it just felt it didn't feel genuine to like start talking about market stuff. But I feel like we're at that point now where we can. We've established a couple of years now of like being a serious market asset class, and we've got companies like Golden, we've got PWCC, Heritage, companies throwing PSA investments, collectors. There's all these like serious investors in it now, and there's all this like industry money coming in. So like, we can confidently start talking about it. We just need more podcasts generated around it, and then more podcasts about the history. Frankly, like, I need to bring back Cardboard Chronicles, not to like toot my own horn, but like talking about the history, how we got here, the foundation, a lot of that kind of stuff would help for sure.
Yeah, we need the oral documentation. We need it in consumable formats, but we also need the old school traditional text format as well, so that reference point is always there, so that if somebody does want to really dig into the substance and flip to the back or look down and look at the footnotes and do further investigation, that they can do that. And we need it to be comprehensive. This is an enormous task. This is something very serious. But I agree, bringing back Cardboard Chronicles, I think, would be an excellent step in that direction. And but we need to marry it with serious scholarship. And so, like Zola Cards points out, that's why I posted this. He said, scholarship is expensive and takes a lot of time to produce. Provide grants for people to do it well. I mean, well said. And that literally is the level that it's at. Like, we can't just expect people are going to just voluntarily up and do this. It needs to be properly compensated. And so I think that's an excellent suggestion.
There's enough money in the hobby, to easily support that. I gave you a take earlier where I told you pretty direct. I said, I don't think you give enough credit to the people who have built up the hobby to this point, in spite of all the stuff you said. Like, we've powered through a lot of that BS, and we've come out, quite a bit stronger. We've gone through the greatest boom in sports card history in the last couple of years, in spite of all this stuff. And I think, to your point, like, we've hit this sort of stagnation period because we've worn it out, and we're ready for the next jump. But like, the point I was trying to make to you was that, like, the collectors and the people who built it before that stuff came in are still here, and they're even more excited than before. Because they're just so fired up about the hobby, and obviously, like, their collection values have gone up. It's incentivized them to stay and continue to move forward. But like, this hobby is a really, really strong foundation, and I think it's probably stronger than we even know. And I know it is, because there's just so many people out there that move, quietly and don't create content, and they don't say anything. They just sort of like buy stuff, and we've started to be approached by some people behind the scenes that are hesitant to come into the hobby because of the stuff we talked about, but they're looking at it, and they're looking for reasons to jump in, and this is kind of what we're talking about, is like the next step to get them in.
Exactly. All right, let me run through a couple of the questions that some people had. So Cow Card said, he goes, I agree with your story. Legitimate influencers are vital for this hobby. The Currency Project says, let's continue going down the path of your story today. Let's take out the trash. Darby Collects says, let's talk more about cornball content. What are the pros and the cons? Are there any pros to cornball content?
I mean, to be fair to everything you said, like, it probably did bring in quite a few people we wouldn't have had otherwise. Like, some people might have stumbled into it and then like quickly diverted away and did their own research and found out and, loved the hobby on their own accord. So I think there's definitely an aspect of, like, it's probably reached some people that wouldn't have otherwise because of the YouTube algorithms or whatever. Now, the counter to that is, like, has it brought in a lot of people that got burned and we kind of were worse off because of that? Yeah, I don't know. But there's definitely a lot of collectors that you and I know personally that have joined in the last 2 years that we now look to as like, important pieces of the hobby. So I think that's probably the pro.
Yeah, I suppose that's right. I guess just to me, like, the cornball content is okay as long as it's in proper proportion to serious content and to thought leadership that's going to steer our hobby in the right direction, and that's going to bring in the right type of people. So, like, the problem with the cornball content is that it's by far the loudest voice in the room, and it's actually become the face of our industry, which is just an absolute embarrassment. Just compare this era of content creation to the Jim Beckett era in the 90s, when the guy had a serious price guide with high-level editorial content spotlighting collectors of different, super collectors, really romanticizing the great collectors, editorial work, letters to the editor, plus a full-blown price guide. And he had it for every sport, and he had experts in the different fields working on every sport. Like, compare that era of content where, like, dude, you could go into like a Walgreens in the 90s, and like right next to the Sports Illustrated magazine is the Beckett magazine for basketball cards. Like, it was very legitimate. And now, we don't have anything on that level of legitimacy. We just have, one-off YouTube pages that are oftentimes of dubious ethics at best, that are simply here to try and promote and prop up some other product that they're selling to you. So I just think we're just a mere, fraction quality-wise of what we used to be in the 90s, and that's messed up. Shouldn't be that way.
Well, we've been like kind of reserved on this topic for a long time, and people have been kind of like trying to will it out of us a little bit in the comment section, and we've had fun with the comments, but it seems like you're ready to make the leap.
Oh yeah. Well, what do you mean? What have I not made it? Is there anywhere left to go?
No, I'm not saying you didn't make the leap tonight. I'm saying like we've sort of danced around it and kind of like left it on the side for a while, and tonight is you're today. I don't know what sparked it for you this morning in your stories, but you're ready to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, how much longer do you want to watch card values go down? How much longer do you want to be in this era of stagnation or decline in sports cards before we wake up and realize, why aren't new people coming in? And it's because we're repelling them. Because the faces of our content, which is the first thing that people see, feel like multi-level marketing scams. That's why. And this isn't a multi-level marketing scam sector. This is a sector with a rich tradition, a rich history, and some amazing innovations and evolutions over the course of the past 50, 60, 70 years. There's amazing things here, but none of us, I didn't come into the hobby because of some goofball on YouTube selling me his bullshit product. I came into the hobby because I rediscovered my cards back in 2016. And then everything else I just tolerate. I just put up with it because I love cards that much. So we've got to the point where, like, most of those people who are going to rediscover their cards organically, they already have. And we've gotten to the point to where, as all these sneakerheads and retail flippers who are going to come in, they've already come in. So now we're at the point where, okay, we have to take the next step. And we also don't need these cornball content creators, because Fanatics' marketing machine is going to do what they already do 100-fold on a scale 100-fold larger. So we don't even need the argument from generic appeal. Hey, at least these cornball content creators are appealing to X number of subscribers on YouTube, half of which are fake. We don't even need that anymore, because Fanatics' marketing efforts, when they eventually take over all three of the league and player association licenses, they're going to dwarf it, They're going to absolutely dwarf it. So we don't even need, there is no more justification for this cornball content or this mainstream appealing content. And in fact, it's actually costing everybody money by allowing them to continue to exist. And by continuing to patronize their content and subscribe to their channels, it's costing all of you money. It is repelling people from this industry, and it is stunting our growth, and it is making your collection values go down.
Well, here's why I brought it up. There's a really large group of people in the hobby that feel the way you feel, and I feel this way as well. But like, people don't know how to express it or where to direct that sort of frustration, and they're just sort of, like, we almost have to like go along with it because of where the hobby's come over the last few years. We don't want to like complain and point and stuff. But you might be the one, like, people are looking for someone to lead this, right? They're looking for someone to get behind that they can trust and say, look, this guy's going to come out and say, yes, we need to stand up to this crap. Finally, I can get behind it and I can start supporting this. And I don't know. That's all I got to say on that. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Bedhead Nation says, how does Fanatics fit into... Okay, we just talked about that. We just talked about how Fanatics fits into that. Drake's PC says... Love the story posts. My question is, in your opinion, who or what is most important for organic growth and sustainability of the hobby? Is it the average collector doing things quietly, or is it the people throwing insane money at cards, aiming to legitimize them as an investable asset class, or is it something else?
It's both of those things, I think. I mean, you need the foundation of the collector, and then if you want the market to grow, you need people throwing money at it. So you need both. It's like the foundation of it has always been the most important piece of it to me, and the continual growth of like collectors. You're gonna still need that no matter what. So you need both.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the collectors are like the firewood and the fire. But you need to throw some grease on it. You need to throw some fire starter and some crazy stuff on top to get it really blowing. But like, you still need a fire.
Yeah, I agree. And like, it's also this is the opportunity to like, there's been this inauthentic divide between what an investor and what a collector is that never made a ton of sense. The collectors have the wisdom and the knowledge about the fundamentals of how collectibles markets work that the investors need. The collectors have been preaching rarity when the quote-unquote investor group was focused on high population commodity base cards that have absolutely crashed. Those people weren't investors. They were not serious investors. They were fools who were led to a slaughter. The collectors have always had the content that the investors need, which is understanding rarity, understanding the history of products, and so on and so forth. Go.
Yeah.
What did Greg say?
I do want you to be careful about the distinction between like fools and low end, because like the low end market still deserves like quite a bit of attention, and there's still like a huge swath of people that again like are building the foundation of this thing in the low end market. You're more specifically talking about like high pop low end stuff that was pumped and dumped.
Correct, and that was manipulated, and that is easily shilled. We're seeing the 2017 Prism Mahomes, which is not a low-end card. The PSA 10 has been shilled for the last 2 to 3 months on eBay. We see it every night on Card Ladder. And how do I know that it's shilled? I'll tell you how I know that it's shilled. Is repeatedly zero feedback cards are winning those auctions, and then a week or two later, those auctions end up getting relisted. So,
is that all?
that's it. I don't know if that convinces you guys out there or not.
Sound like a professional.
Plus, you have the comparison point of what the Shield auctions end for versus what stuff sells for in PWC Weekly and on My Slabs, where it's more difficult to get away with not paying for things and not feeling pain for doing so. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. There's nothing wrong with base cards. There's nothing wrong with cards that have a lot in their population. There's nothing wrong with taking pride in owning some of those cards. The problem, though, it was the philosophy that these exclusively are the investable assets, and that rare cards or iconic PMG level stuff. Look, so many people missed that boat just because nobody wanted to listen to the collectors 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And now finally, people are sort of catching up and realizing that this is a collectibles market, and fundamentals of a collectibles market include, things like aesthetic appeal. They include things like scarcity and rarity. They include things like historical importance. That these are all things that were actively being ignored by people who wanted to make the hobby simpler than it actually is. People who took their own impression of what the hobby should. And this is a problem in corporate life in general, not just in the hobby, but people taking this corporate philosophy to cards. Is they have a preconceived notion of how things should be, and then they try to force it into an area or a category that they know nothing about. And that's exactly what happened when there was this hyper focus on these base PSA 10s to the total exclusion of the other cards that historically have been the cornerstone of the hobby. But now people have caught up, and they've moved, or they've shifted their approach, and they've learned, and they've gotten more advanced, but they still could get quite a bit more advanced as well. All right. So the content creators who are collectors really have the good stuff. All right, Krebs and Cards. This is the last question here on the story post. Krebs and Cards says, isn't inclusivity better? Who gets to decide who the hobby belongs to? How would you reply to that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're not talking about like excluding people from the hobby. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the leadership, right? We're talking about the first thing you see from a leader, from someone who's posed as like the face of the hobby, and someone who's given the content viewership that would justify someone being a leader. So we're definitely not talking about excluding people from the hobby. That's actually the opposite. We're actually saying the leadership is preventing us from being more inclusive.
Perfectly said. All right. Any other thoughts on
No.
faces of the hobby and stuff like that?
No.
No.
You know how big I am on balance, so I feel like we've been on this topic for a while, and in the spirit of creating content for people that we're asking everyone else to do, let's start doing it.
Well, you know what my next topic is for us? This was going to be our main topic of tonight, but then some other things happened.
I have no idea. I've been sick all week. Just give it to me.
Well, you and I were pre-gaming a little bit for this topic. It's the MVP. It's the NBA MVP, all right? And so there's two questions that prompted it. And so, look, all right, the first one is Mike Pinkerton 50 says, will Giannis cards go up? I think he means like
MVP.
I don't know. Well, the other question is from Air Jordan Cards. He says, if Giannis does not win MVP or a championship this year, what happens to his card values? So I got triggered this week when somebody wrote in a story post or replied to one of my other stupid story posts, and he
never get triggered. This is weird.
This guy slid in the comment that said, like, look, when you invest in stocks, you have your sure things, your Coca-Colas, your Amazons, your Microsofts. And when you invest in sports cards, you have your sure things, your Jordans, your LeBrons, and your Giannis's. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to challenge this guy. I'm just gonna put this to my story and just let it ride. But I'm going to make a mental note and come back and talk about it later. Okay, Rip the Knicks, we're going to get there. Hold on, buddy. All right, so, and I said, okay. I said I'm gonna talk about this. All right, I said I'm gonna talk about this. So look, Giannis is not in the same conversation as Michael Jordan and LeBron James. All right, that's where I want to start. You want to reply to that basic starting point?
No, I don't. I don't really want to catapult an anti-Giannis debate off of like he's not Jordan and LeBron. Of course he's, is that what you said, Jordan and LeBron? Of course he's
Jordan
not.
and LeBron.
By the way, neither is Luka or Jokic or Embiid or really anybody other than like those two guys. So if you want to put them in that category, you better be ready to throw a bunch of championships and finals appearances and all-time scoring records and all kinds of stuff at it.
Yes, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. It's like, look, here's the thing about Giannis, right? people are saying Giannis has more hardware in his trophy case than LeBron did at that age, which is true. Way more accomplishments than LeBron. And same thing for Jordan. Way more accomplishments than Jordan had in his age 27 season as well. Giannis has 2 regular season MVPs. He has a finals MVP. He has a championship, and he has a defensive player of the year. But let me ask you this. If Giannis is such a great defensive player, how come his defensive impact rankings have fallen off a cliff this year, just coinciding with the fact that Brook Lopez was out for the entire season? It turns out that Brook Lopez was the guy defending the rim, not Giannis. And how come in the Brooklyn Nets game, Giannis refused to guard Kevin Durant if Giannis is supposed to be this great defensive player? How come he refused to guard Kevin Durant and Wes Matthews had to guard him instead? How come that happened? How come the fact that Giannis can't guard perimeter players because they smoke him and they get by him every single time? Is Giannis really this great defensive player, or is he in a great defensive system that Jason Kidd spearheaded, and then Brook Lopez guards the rim, and then Drew Holiday guards the perimeter, and then Giannis just gets to be a floating free agent on defense? Let's talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, all right.
Dude, I got your back on the anti-cornball movement. I can't get behind you on the Giannis sucks at defense thing. I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of Giannis. That dude can play some D.
I'm not saying he sucks, but he's not a defensive player of the year candidate. He's not. And this year he got exposed as for being, a good defender, but not this all-time great Michael Jordan caliber defender. He's not that.
Yeah, because he's taking on a lot more on the offensive end as well. So, like, the team dynamics changing. Like you said, Lopez isn't there. They're having to shift around some of their team. But his, defensive analytics last year were staggering. Like, he deserved. And 2 years ago when he won the Defensive Player of the Year. And didn't he win Defensive Player of the Year last year, too?
No, he only won one. He has one Defensive Player of the Year.
2 years ago. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves that year. The dude can definitely defend. That Nets game was interesting. He wasn't guarding Durant. They threw him at Durant for double teams late to throw Durant off at the end with Giannis, but it was definitely Durant going against I forget who's guarding him, but Giannis was amazing still. Giannis won the game. He was clutch. He hit a 3 to tie the game with 15 seconds left, and he made the game-winning free throws. So
I want to hear this Nets Bucks analysis from Josh.
I just dude, the guy just told me that Giannis is a terrible defender, and he's really thrown me here, so I need some backup.
Because all I'm thinking about is earlier this week on Tuesday against MVP candidate Embiid, he blocked him with 5 seconds left to win the game. And then I think about the finals, and we talk about Giannis's 50-point performance, but his ability to block the alley-oop to win the game, that was as impressive as LeBron's chase. That's too far. But if you watch that, it is an incredible play. So is Chris anti-Giannis? What is the discussion?
I am.
Someone messaged him saying that they put him in a sentence with Jordan and LeBron, and he got very upset. Giannis is the best player in the NBA. I'll just make that statement right now. He's the best player in the NBA.
I think so.
He's
too.
the Finals MVP.
I think he's the MVP right now.
I didn't say he was the MVP. I said he's the best player in the NBA.
No way. I'll tell you who the best player in the NBA is. It's Nikola Jokic. He's been the best player in the NBA for 720 straight days.
Okay, so here's the truth, Chris. Nikola Jokic is where Giannis was last year. Giannis broke through and won, and now everything is validated because he has a title. And Jokic has to do that. Now the difference is that the Drew Holiday trade worked out and Chris Middleton stepped up. And Jokic doesn't have Jamal Murray, and he doesn't have Michael Porter Jr. And so he don't got the other pieces.
Here we go. All right, here we go. Give me 15 seconds. 15 seconds uninterrupted, and then I'll stop. Do you know which player in the NBA has the highest value over replacement? Box plus minus, offensive box plus minus, defensive box plus minus, win shares per 48, offensive win shares, and the best player efficiency rating in the history of the NBA. It's Nikola Jokic. It's not even close. This guy is the best player in basketball right now. He has the third highest career player efficiency rating in history. By the time his career is done, he will surpass LeBron and Jordan.
All right, that was longer than 15 seconds. We're doing this live, I guess. What are Nikola Jokic's clutch stats this year? Because I want to talk about Josh's Suns.
Giannis has in his career this season.
Because I get Jokic is amazing. But, like, I'm watching Josh's Suns and I'm watching Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and at the end of games, you can't breathe. Like, you're doing whatever they want to do. What is Jokic like in the clutch when it's all on him and he's got to win?
Jokic, I haven't read pieces on his clutch performance
Neither have I.
season.
I'll look it up right now.
Look it up, because last season he was the most clutch player in the league, and he probably is this season too.
Okay,
the clutch stuff favors Jokic heavily.
All right, so you just gave me numbers. What about eye tests? Just like you as a fan that watched Michael Jordan and has watched LeBron and watches Giannis and sees Embiid and then you watch Jokic.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've never been a huge fan of watching him. I've never been a huge fan of watching him, but a game.
That's crazy. I'm not a huge fan of watching him. So what you just look at the box score and that's how you enjoy him?
Yes. I look at the numbers. And I say this guy is contributing more to winning than anybody else this season. And if he sustains this over 5 to 6 years, he'll be right up there with the Jordans and the LeBrons.
But you love watching Chris McCaffrey. You say that that's the reason you have Game Pass and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I love watching McCaffrey, and I love watching Luka. Luka is an amazing, fun player to watch as well.
Yes, it's joy. You would take Jokic over Luka? I would not.
You have to, dude.
If I'm building a team, well, that's an age thing too.
Okay.
My bad.
If you're building it, that's the difference of the question. Are we talking who's the better player right now, or are we talking who do I want to?
Josh, who would you take?
It's my turn. It's my turn.
All right, let's go, Josh.
I can beat you in this argument so easily. What's the? I think you said it to me last night. 20 and 23 in the playoffs. You could say all you want about Jokic. He's got amazing stats. Guess what? This guy better fucking bring it in these playoffs, and he better get to the finals because these names you're rattling off, these stats you're rattling off, these people who carry teams to the finals with similar supporting casts. LeBron James, 2007. These guys have done it. These historic players have gone to the finals. So Jokic better not get swept this year like he did last year because he was 20 and 19 in the playoffs, and then he got swept out by the Suns, and he showed his anger at the end of that series by getting a flagrant getting kicked out of the game. So Jokic better bring it this year. If we're going to be giving him this much praise, let's see.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, look, that's the only argument you guys have because if you wanted to look at the numbers or you wanted to look at the advanced metrics, you have nothing. Everything that recommended Giannis, Jokic has surpassed him in those statistics. He's going to end with the best player efficiency rating of all time. The impact metrics show he's a much better defensive player than Giannis is. Look at this. All right, just look at this. The total wins above replacement on 538. Jokic is right here at 21.2. You can't even see him. He's so far over there. Everybody else is at 10.5. He's twice as good as the next best players in the league. That's how good this guy is.
Josh, when I watch Kevin Durant go up and make an incredible shot, you know what I think?
He's better than Jokic.
Man, did you just see that VORP? That was incredible. What a VORP.
I see what we're doing.
Are you saying that if you traded Jokic for Giannis, he would have won the championship last year?
This is great. Okay, so yes. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know. That's an impossible question.
Oh, it's an easy question. You're throwing VORP at me. That's what VORP is.
Yes. Here's the thing.
Valuable.
Yes.
What is his playoff VORP? That's what I would like to know. What is his playoff WAR? Not his regular season WAR, his playoff VORP. I want to know. I want to know what he is in the playoffs.
Did you say you're using the argument that VORP means he's better, and then I presented you with an opportunity to use the VORP argument to replace Giannis, which is what it means, and saying he still would win the championship. He should have swept the Suns according to your VORP argument.
According to your VORP.
because you don't know how it's going to go in the pressure situation.
And also that LeBron argument is BS too. LeBron didn't have 40% of his salary cap missing for an entire season. Jokic has. The second and the third best players on his team.
The goalpost. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about putting Jokic on the net.
Anderson Varejao. I forgot how good Anderson Varejao was that year.
They had their full salary.
Gibson.
Jokic doesn't. Look, it's unpopular to argue the Jokic thing, but 5 years from now, when he has the highest player efficiency rating over a career in the history of the NBA, we're going to revisit this.
And if he has 0 championships, you will have nothing to argue.
I think did Jokic lose to the Timberwolves tonight?
Yes.
I think he did. I think, Chris, you should have to, and I have to is a strong word, you should watch your MVP for the rest of the way. I feel like if you're going to love him this much, and then, because look, you might be like, wow, I'm even more in love, and then you'll end up like diverting Christian McCaffrey money into Nikola Jokic. You know what I mean?
Oh, I've been watching him. Dude, this guy, man,
did you just John Gruden us? This guy, man. Look, man, he's good, man.
Look, man, you know what I love about Jokic, too? Knock on wood if you're with me. Jokic is a player who nobody likes. Nobody pays attention to him. He's easy to hate on.
Everybody likes him.
No, look at your buddy Nick Wright. He can't stand this guy.
You just named one guy, which means that stands out because that take is good.
Okay, let's get Stephen A. Smith on here. Let's get Shaq. Let's get all your guys on here. They're all going to tell you, oh, Nikola Jokic.
Shaq last night did not want to give Giannis all-time love. So, like, we have so many conversations behind the scene. And so he was like, Giannis one day could be like top 30. And I was like, one day? I was like, I can make an argument for Giannis top 20.
Now. Yeah.
And Shaq was like, absolutely not. And then Jamal Crawford, who's like more curious than me, was like, okay, give me 30 names. And Shaq just started saying names, right? So he's like, Jordan, Magic. And we're putting them all down. And I have my list from the Ultimate Draft. And he starts agreeing to just, Dominique Wilkins. He had so many names where me and Dwayne and Jamal were like, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. But then it came down to at the end, he was like, I just think if Giannis was in our era, he'd get beat up. And I was like, that's it. I'm done listening. I was like, you always get into this like bully argument. And
dude, Giannis is like 7 feet, like 250 pounds, 260. But the dude is
Giannis would Euro step around Hakeem and make Hakeem look really slow.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. That was dressed. That was very hot heavy. Yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't have gone straight at Hakeem. I would have maybe went for like
but you got to go for the biggest one.
You got to go for the all-time shot block leader. I don't know. Good luck.
Yeah, right. No.
All right, Adam, who are you voting for MVP? Who is your top 3 and what's the order?
My top 3 is no order first. Embiid, Giannis, and Jokic are the 3. You can't be 20-2. Ja Morant. I think it's really tough because I think Devin Booker is really good, but even when I watch him at the end of games, it's a lot of fouls drawn. And Chris Paul is the engine. He touches it every time. Like if there's an MVP of that team for me, it's Chris Paul. Just like Devin Booker's incredible. And then who are the other? And then Luka's up there. Luka's up there, but he's in to me, he's like one above Tatum, I would probably say my MVP God.
You want to say Embiid? I know you do. Just go ahead.
I am so down on the Sixers right now.
No. Don't do that. Just
James Harden is not Embiid. Come on. Embiid is not Harden.
I know. Embiid had 37 against Detroit, and they didn't even have a chance at the end.
Yeah.
James Harden right now, oh, man. Yeah, because to me, really, it is between Embiid and I don't know, man. It's between those 3. There's 5-6 games left, and I want to see who comes in first in the East. Because if the Bucks come in first in the East and they get home court advantage, Brook Lopez missed half the season, like 60% of the season. Drew Holiday missed 20 games. Chris Middleton missed 20 games. Giannis had to hold it down. But Embiid has been incredible. Damn, I don't have it yet. I need 5 more games.
Well, you don't have to have it yet. Josh, what's your top 3 in order?
Well, let me start off by naming you some past MVPs: Derrick Rose, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone. So just let that sink in your mind, and then remember who won the Finals MVPs those years. Moving on. I'm going to say Jokic
MVP
is
doesn't matter as much.
Jokic is definitely the MVP. I don't really think it's that much of a debate. The Nuggets, the rest of the Nuggets roster is not good. Not good enough. He's missing his second and third best player. They're vying for like the 5th seed right now. I think they're in the 6th, pushing for 5th. I think without Jokic, they're probably the worst team in the West. And Jokic is my MVP in the regular season. You got me triggered with this whole LeBron 2007 thing. You kind of pissed me off a little bit. Now I got to root against Jokic in the playoffs because 5th between the regular season MVP and when the actual shit starts going in the playoffs is a very different game. And this is what we saw with Trae Young last year. We've seen it with so many players in the past where, you know, the regular season is fun. You're putting up the numbers. You got the crazy board. Let's see what happens when Game 6 of the finals comes around. Giannis dropping 50 points in Game 6 of the finals. Not many humans can do that. I don't think there's any other human right now that can do it. Giannis is the best player in the NBA for me until proven otherwise, until someone can knock him off.
Yeah, but how about this? But how about the fact that Giannis was getting absolutely destroyed by the Brooklyn Nets last year, 2-0. Then Giannis steps on Kyrie's foot and injures him for the rest of the season. Nobody talks about Giannis as a dirty player. Can we talk about that? And then KD is 1 inch away from still knocking his ass out in the second round. Can we talk about that?
Look, I think I could easily make an argument that Kevin Durant is better than Giannis. I could very easily do it. Yep.
Talk about it, Adam. Is Kevin Durant better than Giannis?
Kevin Durant is right. Yeah, Kevin Durant is a top. Shit, I might make him top 10 player all time. And Giannis is not there. He's not.
No, okay, not yet. Not yet.
KD is still in his prime.
He is. So do you like the Nets if they're healthy to come out of the East?
No.
You like the Sixers?
No, because I think the reason that I was so high on the Sixers was I couldn't believe what people were saying about the Nets. So it was more of like a rejection of that. It was they made the trade and people said they have found the missing piece in Ben Simmons. And I said, this guy is currently making updates to his gaming system in his basement. And he has not played basketball. I was like, what? And for me, it's like I watched Seth Curry on the Sixers, and that's all teams attacked. And I watched Andre Drummond, and I was like, our plus minus stinks when he's on the court. Like they need to get Embiid back out there. And so I think Durant has a much worse supporting cast than he did last year. I mean, he had a Blake Griffin that was shooting 35% from 3 last year. This year, Blake Griffin can't get off the bench because he's a problem. And defensively, they're short. Goran Dragic, Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving, and who's the fourth?
Bruce Brown, they usually trot out there.
I mean, well, the first 3 I named are all 6'1".
Well, Bruce Brown is like a 6'4" power forward somehow. But yeah, I hear you. They have no defense at all.
And I thought they had better. They had Joe Harris last year. Like they had a really good supporting cast. I think it's the Bucks in a runaway. Ooh, the only team that I thought that could beat the Bucks was the Celtics. I think the Heat are going to be the team that maybe gets further than people realize because I think it's become cool to hate on the Heat. It's always fun to say the 1 seed's weak until the 1 seed, you're like, damn, I mean, Bam Adebayo is special. And if Duncan, but I think it's the Bucks in a runaway.
Yeah, I agree. I'm seeing a lot of growth in Giannis from his mental game. Like he's just like not afraid of literally anything. He's taking the big free throws. He's hitting the big threes to tie games.
15 of 17. This dude shot 35% free throws in Brooklyn. 10, 9, 8, 7. And now this dude hit 15 of 17 and a 3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He made 11
Dude,
in a row as well at one point in that game, too.
He beat the Suns in the finals because of free throws. Let's not. If
He
he
beat
was
the
making
Suns in
free
the
throws,
finals because Chris Paul's hand was hurt and he couldn't shoot. That's why
and
they
Giannis was making it.
Listen, dude,
Thanks
there
for the
are.
Suns love. You don't need to
Does-
protect the Suns. It's okay.
Does Kawhi Leonard get that championship if the Warriors are in a mess? No, but you
Probably not.
have to do it when you do it.
You do.
But he made the free throws too. He made the free throws. The Suns are a great team, and
Hey, look,
could have won that series. Giannis made his free throws.
We're gonna go the other way with this. If the Bucks get the Nets in round one, the Nets are winning and Giannis is going out in the first round.
Let's go.
The Nets
Let's take
can
bets.
beat anybody.
Let's fucking bet. Let's bet on it.
Fucking bet. Let's go. I got a Le'Veon Bell Prism Gold on it.
All right, here. I'll bet you this pillow.
Who are you
I'll bet
worried
you-
as a Suns fan about, Josh, in the West?
Oh. Well, don't say this out loud because fucking South Park's in the chat like a little prick. If Kawhi somehow comes back in George, I'm a little nervous. Not that nervous. I don't think they can pull it together that quick.
You're not nervous about Kawhi?
No.
They were the title favorites when they were healthy.
If you are going to knock off a team that is like, I think they're like 42-0 or like 38-0 in leading going into the fourth.
Yeah.
You're not gonna commingle a bunch of random parts at the last moment, even though you have Tyronn Lue and they're two great all-time players, and beat a team like the Suns right now. Because they'd have to play them in the beginning.
You see what happened to the Suns tonight? You see who the Suns lost to tonight?
That's like,
God damn it. Dude, they've already clinched the whole fucking world.
So have the
It doesn't
Grizzlies.
matter.
The Grizzlies had nothing to play for as well, and they played their
if they're smart, they'll have watched the interviews where Kevin Durant said that he thought that going for 73 tired them out. I think that they should watch that.
I agree.
I would be sitting the Suns players. I don't know why they're still playing. It's crazy. Booker played 37 minutes tonight. Come on.
Because Booker's
Monty.
trying to win the MVP. Booker's trying to be first-team All-NBA.
So far away.
That's
dude.
a
This is
big
so big.
contract difference when you're first-team All-NBA.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. You're
Booker
right.
deserves it as well. You know, the Suns put out some propaganda, but it was reasonable. The players on the best record in the league who go for 25, 5, and 5.
Yeah, was that Russillo that said that?
Yeah, I think so. 11 of the last 12 have won the MVP. But what that overlooks is the fact that many of those were pre-PER takeover. The PER winner has accurately predicted the MVP in all the last 8 seasons except for Anthony Davis.
And is that because people are looking at PER, or is it because
it's a
PER
feedback
matters more?
It's a feedback loop. They're definitely
just like I'm not going to sit here with Mr. Investor and say past performance is an indicator of future earnings.
You're right. Look, that's a fair point. Booker, though, look, that Suns team along certain metrics is maybe one of the top 20 all-time regular season teams. They're super good. Booker deserves the love. CP3 deserves the love.
Can I finish the question? Finish the answer? The other team, even though Chris is throwing slander at my LeBron stuff tonight, I'm still nervous about the Mavs only because of Luka. Because I've seen one-man wrecking crews in the playoffs. I've seen it happen many times, and Luka, to me, is the next LeBron in terms of, like, the control, the pace of the game, the way he plays. He's, like, the one wild card that I think could just take down a team by himself. Any team in the NBA. It doesn't have to be a historic team or, like, an average team. He can win a series. He's just that good. I'm not worried about the Warriors, man. Like, they're just too, like, they haven't gotten their whole squad together. I'm not worried about the Grizzlies. They're not ready yet. Definitely not worried about the Jazz. They're a joke.
What did you say about the Mavs?
I just did a whole thing about it.
Oh, my bad.
Luka can beat you by himself. I'm worried about the Mavs. That's the only team. The Mavs and the Clippers-ish.
So who would they throw at Luka? They'd throw Mikal Bridges at Luka. They'd throw
Crowder.
He would tear Booker apart. You don't want Booker or Chris Paul on him.
But
you don't want Booker in foul trouble because of Luka. That's why I'm afraid.
Ayton switches well, though. Ayton switches the pick and roll really well.
That is big, but man, they got Dwight Powell. That man runs a perfect alley-oop.
He does, man. That's the one thing that man does.
And Maxey. Shout out to Maxey.
Okay, Christina's night has been made. Hey, look, by the way,
do
you guys know who has the highest points per game average in NBA playoff history?
Luka.
Oh, okay. This man is ready for the playoffs.
What is he at? Like 37?
I think it's 35.3 or something.
Low sample size because he hasn't gotten out of the first round yet. So,
but it's great sample size because he's done it against Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
I think in the last week, Devin Booker has made himself a first-team All-NBA guard. I think in my mind, and this is going to be controversial, I would take him over Steph and Ja in terms of voting for first-team All-NBA.
So who's your other guard?
Is Luka a guard?
Yeah, he's a guard.
Luka's my other guard.
Okay.
There you go.
I would go Luka, Devin, Embiid, Jokic. I would get them both on there.
And Giannis.
And Giannis.
Yep.
And LeBron. Damn.
Yeah, I'd go. You can't have three centers, so LeBron gets in on default. Just give the old man one more. Give him one more. Give the old man one more.
Giannis is technically a forward. Embiid and Jokic are centers.
Yeah, I'd go LeBron.
So that's
Giannis,
why I'm happy going. Yeah, it's either got to be then. For me, it's LeBron or probably Embiid, and then it's Embiid.
Okay.
What's your All NBA? What's your Chris All NBA?
Chris, yeah.
Honestly, my NBA first team is Luka, Curry, Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid.
You can't have three centers.
I'm doing.
Come on, man, grow up. Just pick your favorite. Like I hate like. It's not guard, forward, center. Like pick the best. We're putting 5 on a court.
He spent all this time talking about how much Giannis is terrible at defense, and then still puts him on All NBA.
Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid can totally play together. Those three humans could totally play together.
Yes,
Jokic allows
Jokic on the free throw line, Embiid down low, and you're going to put Giannis on the wing. And I think Giannis could drive by anybody on the wing.
And Embiid can play the perimeter too. That guy's a fucking step back.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, before you go, 76ers, man, teach us about what this team's going to do in the playoffs this year.
They met in the first round.
I just need them to get further than the Nets because I have bets with Isaiah Thomas and Dwayne Wade that they get further.
Oh,
because it's all Ben Simmons related.
But don't be modest. You know the 76ers are built to win, man. You've got that team from Maxey.
Do you have the standings in front of you?
I can get them.
Tell me who they're playing right now. If they're in the 3 and they get the Cavaliers in the first round, they will get to the second round.
Well, they got the Bulls right now in a 4-5.
And they can beat the Bulls too. If they get the Bulls or Cavs,
in like 4 games.
They swept the Bulls this year. There are certain teams where Vucevic versus Embiid is going to be an assault.
It's a slaughter.
And the Cavs don't have Mobley or the Fro.
No, they don't. Yeah, the Cavs you can write them off.
Wait,
but if they somehow get in a weird 4-5 with Boston.
You're not worried about Boston?
What happened to Mobley and Allen?
Allen's been out now for like 3-4 weeks, and Mobley's going to miss the next 3 games with an injury.
Yeah. Well, why are you not worried about Boston? Boston's like playing like the best basketball of anybody right now.
No, I'm very worried about Boston.
Okay, all right. Josh, you're not worried about Boston?
No, people keep saying, "Oh, the hottest team." The hottest team in the NBA at every point of the season is the Suns. So, like, you got to say, except for the Suns, the hottest team in the NBA is the Grizzlies or the Celtics.
Well, no, the Grizzlies had like a big run. The Warriors had a run. But Phoenix has been elite. Monty's coach of the year.
Really? You don't want to give it to Taylor Jenkins, considering what he does? His G League team beat the Suns tonight?
It was pretty good. I mean, it's the Final Four is Monty, Taylor Jenkins, Ime Udoka, and Ty Lue.
Ty Lue, just because he kept them relevant.
The fucking what? Reggie Jackson was their best player.
Reggie Jackson. He's kind of.
They scored 150. They scored 153 tonight with like a G League team, dude.
Like, you took $40 million away from Michael Porter Jr. I'm going to take $100 million away from the Los Angeles Clippers.
True. All right, I hear you. All right, man. Adam,
hold on. So, and can I end on this note?
Yes.
Because the reason I wanted to really talk was about content.
Ooh, let's go.
Oh, what's your take?
Well, often the people that get the most frustrated are the people that know that they should be doing it. And Chris is doing it, and I think it's about packaging. And I should probably charge you for this.
Let's go. All right, send me the invoice, Adam.
Well, I just think that, like, perfect example, the video that I did today, or whatever their name is. If we're looking at it, like, they used a really good camera.
Yep.
The editing was good. There was storyboarding that happened. There was child acting. They had microphones. There was multiple scenes that probably took a long time. And if that was all that time and effort and money was used for the content that you're talking about, probably would have been the best content that we had ever seen. But instead, it was an attempt to be funny on a day that isn't funny anymore. And so and it's not an insult, like, really, like, to them, like, man, like, you guys put a lot of effort in that, and it looks like you guys had fun doing it. And so I hope it was a good team building exercise. But I think that if you spent that time sitting down and going, what is the content that needs to be made right now? And I think everybody has to do that. Like, I know y'all never mention them, but I work at Alt too. You know what I mean? Like, I help them out. And
I've never heard of that. I'm not quite sure Josh, have you heard of that before?
So wait, what is the beef? Do we need to?
There's no beef. I'm just fucking with you. There's no beef. Let's go talk about it, man. You are the content creative vision.
Well, no, but like, to be honest, I've been doing TV, so I haven't been like this. But like, I will say this: at Bleacher Report back in the day, we used to have people like Matt Bowen and Michael Felder that were really, really smart, knew a lot of NFL, and they always wanted to do teaching videos, people how to watch football, how to do it. And the hardest thing, Chris, is that those videos do not produce numbers.
No, they don't.
And so you're asking people to spend time and effort on content that will not be generating views in a view economy. And so the true thing is I mean, the content is big, but your big talk right now is about bringing in NFT money and big time investors. What the thing is, how do they consume content? And is it something like,
though, that, like, those people don't care about the goofball high viewership stuff. They actually need the raw data, and they need to, like, get serious about the research because they're putting real money. They don't care about, like, what has the most views, just to be honest.
But that's what I mean. Josh said the All-In podcast.
I love that podcast.
You would probably need somebody in the hobby that could be a person that goes on the All-In podcast.
We can do that. We have the producer. We have the cameras. We could do it.
I'll tell you what.
We could really do it.
No, this is the truth. You want to know how Chris got on my podcast? He sent me a fucking email.
That's right. A very long email.
So, Chris, you need to send some fucking more emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to take this show on the road and do things like the call-in because this is the thing is, everyone goes, oh, you need to build content. I don't know, man. Everybody out there is doing content right now. You don't need these people talking to your audience. You should be talking to their audience. So just, and when you go, and this is like sending a soldier out to war. As you go on these podcasts, always have your 3 or 4 talking points like you did when you came on mine. Add some new ones about new market trends and stuff like that. But venture forth on the Oregon Trail. Don't get dysentery, and get on other people's podcasts. Chris, you're gonna have to be the guy.
Oh, I don't know if I'm the guy, but here, Adam.
No, you are, Chris. You're the fucking guy.
I don't know, but I have a new bit though. Here, we'll leave it with this bit. Moses Malone, Adam, because you want to know why I like this bit for you? Because you were talking about Moses Malone 2 years ago. And you said, what's up with Moses Malone? This guy's an all-time great. Well, guess what? The top 75 list came out. It had Moses Malone higher than Steph Curry, and his PSA 10 75 Topps rookie card went up 8-fold over 6 months. All right? So, and you were talking about the...
What did the 9 do? What did the 9 do?
I don't know what the 9... I don't know what the 9 sells for right now.
Because that was the card. And well, then I sold it to my guy.
Yeah, but you know what's David?
David.
Shout out David. But you know, Adam, you know what's better than making money or not making money off of a card? Being right about something is better. You said these lists matter, and you said Moses Malone, and God damn it, you were right.
And the cool thing is his name is Moses Malone, and he was a baller. I still have a Moses Malone, and it was the card that I learned that you need to not be an idiot, which is when I bought his 1986 Fleer, which, as Drake pointed out, says traded 2 Nets on it. So it's like his departure from the Sixers card. So it's really like his mortality card. It's the opposite of his rookie card. It's like when it all came crashing down card. And I bought that because I thought it was his rookie year because I didn't look it up. And then I went, 79, and then I bought that one. Yeah, well, Moses is amazing.
Isn't that a great bit of content, though? I mean, doesn't that sum up the sports card hobby in a certain sense? It's like we're always looking for opportunities. We're always looking for players who overlook, cards that are overlooked, rarity, scarcity, vintage. It's all in that one Moses Malone anecdote. I just love that bit.
I think, honestly, one of the best ways for people to fall in love with collecting is to not immediately take people to the super high end. I honestly think it's to take them to the lowest of the low. And what I mean by that is, who's your favorite athlete? Don't tell me what NBA player do you think is the best.
Right.
And then I would have gone Brian Dawkins. And I would have been like, okay, here's one of Brian Dawkins' best cards, and it's $400. And I would have been like, what? And here's the thing. It's a gold. It's an out of 10. The 10 really matters. You can teach somebody on the other athletes that they love that are not super expensive. Not everybody loves Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is not everybody's favorite athlete. You know?
Dude,
for me, I would have. Oh, what'd you say?
I came into this hobby collecting Penny Hardaway like a weirdo for 2 years. And people were like, is that all you collect? Why don't you buy Jordan and LeBron? I was like, because Penny's my favorite.
Yeah, and then I would have, but, shit.
And then you graduate to the other stuff.
Chris, was yours really Michael Jordan from the beginning?
Yeah, it was 2. It was Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon were my 2 favorite players. I'm from Chicago. You know, I love the Bulls.
I get it. That's what an experience that must have been.
You ever check out this card before?
Yeah.
That's a $400 card right there.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, man. I feel like, you know, when people break boxes and they get like a Kenny Skywalker autograph, and they're like, "Why the hell is that in 2021 National Treasures? Like, what are we doing?" I will say that I love that Brian Dawkins is in all of the current products.
He is. He's
like every time I open a box, I can get a Brian Dawkins.
He's
in Mosaic this year.
The highest selling Brian Dawkins card I can find in the sales history is 2018 Panini Flawless Brian Dawkins NFL Shield logo patch auto 1 of 1, $1,300.
Oh my God, that you may have just given me a new grail, bro. That's amazing. I'll tell you what. You know what? I know the NFL logo is cool, but when it's your team, I would rather have a Dawkins with an eagle, like with a wing.
Oh. Agreed. I love the colored patches of the team. I don't want the shield or the logo.
Or the face. Like,
yes.
Okay, so I remember the first card that I was smitten with on eBay when I got into the hobby, and it's probably still on eBay, is this Russell Wilson Seahawks head patch. And what was incredible was I kind of watched the hobby escalate through that card on eBay. Because when it was up there first, it was $20,000. And I said, wow, that's a lot of money for a sports card. And then as the hobby went up, it went up to $40,000. And then it went up to $80,000. And I was like, wow, I remember when this card was $20,000. And now I think it's on there for over $100,000. I think it's and what's interesting is through that card, I learned how to like look at people's accounts and then see what other cards they had and then figure out what their IG is and then be like, oh, they didn't list this card. But I like the team logos more than the logo man sometimes, depending on the logo.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yep. I hear you on that.
Do you guys own your grails or did you get new grails?
You always have new ones. I own it, but I have more.
I haven't sold any grails, but have added a few new ones. How about you? Do you still have that grail that you showed at the National?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
What?
All right. Just check.
I think that limited logos are very undervalued.
Let's go.
But like to me, like to be honest, like I do think limited logos are cooler than the regular. I'm not saying that it's a better card. I'm not saying it should be worth more. I just think that I don't know, man. A logo patch is cooler than a white, red, and black patch.
Don't you agree with that, Josh? Actually, I think Josh agrees on that.
That limited logos is better than the base?
Not better.
No,
I'm not talking about
exactly
Warp and War. I'm talking about.
No, I know.
Okay.
About like your personal
Nice.
attachment. No, I agree. I would rather, if it in a vacuum, I'd rather own the limited logos. But like, yeah, knowing what I know, I'd rather own the other one.
Like,
but yes.
okay, so I remember holding your LeBron patch at the National, and you had $1 million on it. What would you have on it now?
I sold it for $1 million, so I got my price, didn't I?
Wow. So then, what would that cost now? Do you think?
Well, he bumped it to an 8.5, so probably more.
Wow.
Probably 1.2 or something like that.
And so, like, I remember holding that and looking at that patch. But then I know some of the limited logos with, like, the Cavaliers with, like, the L and it's slicing. I feel like if I was holding that, I would look at it more.
Yes, agreed. That's why I sold it, dude. It's like I only need one RPA. I like the look of this one better. The patch is sweeter. The auto's better. Easy move.
Yeah, those limited logos, and they're game worn. I don't know if that matters, but I think it's kind of cool.
It matters.
Yeah, it matters. I didn't know we were going to turn this into a limited logos pump fest, but I'm here for it.
So is that what
want to
pumping is now? Is just by talking about things you like?
Just thinking about it, you're basically pumping it. If you talk about it, oh, we're pumping it. Ask Lamine James. Lamine James will tell you what pumping is. It's basically anything.
Well, as long as you don't sell, you can say whatever you want.
And you know what? I haven't sold in a long time. Why would I sell right now?
Fair.
Fair. What? Now is the time to look at him and be like, "You're beautiful," and just stare at him.
Right on.
All right. Well, this has been a joy.
Oh, it's been a joy.
Yeah. Have a great night. No, I don't want to leave on that. Let's leave. I'm going to ask a question before I leave.
Let's go.
If you could tell, and I'll leave on this. If you could tell any story, or if you could make any piece of content that when people saw it, like you're talking about bringing in new people, what would it be, Chris?
I'm going with the Moses Malone story.
Really?
Love that story. I love that story, man, because who the hell cares about Moses Malone? And Moses Malone's cards can go up eightfold over a little over half a year period just because a top 75 list comes out. To me, that sums up everything that is dynamic about the sports card market.
So it's dynamic. What's that word? Dynamism?
Dynamism. You know, here's the thing, too, this is what I like about dynamism. This is what makes the sports card market the envy of every other financial market. We don't have to fabricate the volatility. It's there. We get sports narratives and sports stories and legacy-altering outcomes every season, every month. We don't have to fake it. Some of these other asset classes do. They have to try and hype themselves up and get excited and try and inject news or earnings reports to try and stimulate the volatility that sports cards naturally have.
Dynamism. What do you think, Josh? You think that'll carry weight?
No, That story was not. Because you said it, you're like, who the hell cares about Moses Malone? Exactly.
Okay, what do you got, man? What's your story?
Oh, mine might be, I don't know. I would just go, I'm not going to tell you where she lives. I would fly to Gene McLeod and I would say, let's make a documentary about everything you did. I want to know all about these inserts. I want to know how you designed them. I want you to show me the uncut sheets. I want you to tell me about your inspirations. I want you to tell me about casinos. I want you to just tell me the whole story. And then I would dovetail it into like a story about like the explosion of the hobby through the eyes of the 90s kids.
And Chris, do you think that would work?
Yeah, I do. I like that angle. You know, I'm taking more of a market angle. He's taking more of a culture angle, and you need both.
Yeah, I've always liked the culture angle. I saw this shoe documentary. Chris is probably sick of me talking about this shoe documentary, but I forget what it's called. It's on Netflix. I've seen it like 50 times. I just love the culture angle.
Yeah.
What was it about? Oh, about sneakers and how they became a thing?
Called like, it's like Sneakerheads or something.
My friend's in it.
Yeah, I want that for cards. I just want like the culture like story. But
for me, I don't know. It might be like Wayne Gretzky then.
What about Wayne Gretzky?
What kind of footage do we have with him with the big card that he got?
The trimmed Wagner?
Oh, the trimmed Wagner. Damn, did you have to say trimmed?
Well, that's just like a very sketchy story.
But it's cool, though. It's the first card ever graded by PSA.
And it's Wayne Gretzky.
I agree. That's a cool story.
I think the dynamism is interesting to do what you're wanting the market to do. Mm-hmm. But I also think that, I mean, this is what y'all, like, when it was peak hype and you guys were like, you know what? I'm hoping it's a down market so I can take advantage. And I don't even think it's down. I honestly think that how it's been stable for the last few months has only given confidence to people that are really in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, stability is a good sign. Stability means people are buying these things because they want them.
It'll go up again, bro. Remember, it's March now. We're coming into spring. Okay, I'm done. Good night.
See you, buddy.
See you guys.
Yeah,
thanks for letting me talk.
It's been too long, buddy.
Yeah, for real.
Don't waste another year before you come on again.
Hey, Chris, I want you to give some thought to like us making this show more than just like an Instagram live. Like the All In podcast.
You want to broadcast to YouTube live as well?
No, come on. No, I'll send you the All In podcast. I don't know what, like he just kind of sparked my thought. I don't know what I mean exactly. Just taking this bigger, higher production.
Oh, I'm with you, man. I love how there's an energy flowing right now of like, how do we up the ante? Because we do need to up the ante. Like, we've been resting on our laurels as a hobby for years just because we've had this natural infusion of so many people. But now we need to get a little more intentional and deliberate about expanding it once more. And look, Fanatics is going to help with that so much as well. Like,
he's like talking about, oh, they got fancy cameras, they got this. We got that shit too.
Oh yeah, we have the best production value in the hobby. Look at our natural documentary.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, the Mint is going to be getting a lot of their footage from us because we have stuff that like nobody else is going to have because our cameras were like where no one else was.
I agree. Yeah, there's so much to think about and do right now. I like too how like Adam took the like celebrity angle, you took the culture angle, I took the market angle, but really we need all three. We need all three of those. Those are all three of those are part of this equation.
I would watch the hell out of all those.
Yeah. Quentin.
now you know you've cornered yourself. Every time Jokic loses a playoff game, people are going to be all over your ass.
Oh, I want all the Jokic smoke because look, I don't get behind something.
Bring the smoke.
I don't get behind something unless like I have the knockdown drag out argument. Jokic is going to end his career as the most efficient player in the history of the NBA. All right, so bring all the smoke. I want all of it. I want all of it.
I thought you said big men get like higher boosts in the PER.
They do, but Jokic gets it despite the fact that he attempts 4 3-pointers a game. Jokic is attempting more 3-pointers a game than Michael Jordan did. So what Jokic is doing is just it's very underappreciated. And that's what I like so much about it too. It's overlooked what he's doing. And I like having the secret that other people don't know about.
I'll keep overlooking it because this is making for great content.
It definitely got Adam to join and participate in this.
Of course. Who doesn't like arguing about sports? If this doesn't get you excited, our numbers went way up just like on the argument and us going back and forth. If you don't like arguing about sports, you should check your pulse.
I agree. And so you and I have you won last year. You and I said Nets, you said Bucks, and not only did the Bucks come out of the East, but they won. But we're renewing it this year.
Let's fucking go.
We're renewing it this year. Same choices, right?
Yeah, let's bet real money.
Well, I'm running broke after a recent purchase, but we could.
Would you do a debate style show? Not like I don't want to say versus, but like a debate style show with some other content creators?
What would we debate?
Oh, not me. You. Like
you and me against them?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, what topics are we debating, though? Just sports?
Oh, I don't know. Dude, it doesn't matter. People would enjoy the hell out of that. Nah, probably more like what we're talking about today about, like, it would like the thumbnail is probably like collector versus investor, but like the actual content is more about like what's best for the future of the hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be fun.
Nick says yes.
Oh, Nick has wanted this for a while.
Nick's like, come on. He's like, stoke the fire, Josh. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, Rodman? Rodman says he's broke after playing craps with us.
You bet $100, bro. Get out of here.
Yeah, we didn't do so.
The reason I asked Chris is that I'm speaking for the comment section. They are like begging for you to do this. They don't want me. They want you to do it.
Well, I think I'd feel more comfortable if it was you and I tag teaming against, and they can bring their two best. What's that?
That's just like, that's like Jordan and LeBron versus, it's almost like, Jordan can take down the Pistons on his own. I don't know that Jordan also needs LeBron,
David says he'll debate us. Dude, David, I tried to invite you on earlier. Are you still driving?
He was driving.
You want to do this NFT crypto debate right now?
No, please, dude. I'm exhaused.
Okay, all right, sorry. No crypto NFT debate.
I got to answer questions about WrestleMania. Let's go.
Dude, we didn't get to any questions really tonight.
Judge? Nick, that's not fair. That's like a judge. It's got to have like an unbiased jury here. We need like. All
right. Well, we took care. Did we actually answer the Giannis question yet? Will his card values? What's going to happen to his card values based on how he performs this year?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like now. I'm going back to I hope cards go up when players play well, and I hope they go down when they play bad.
Yeah. Yeah, look, dude, here's the thing. If Giannis wins MVP this year, that puts him as one of only 8 other players who have won 3 MVPs. So, like, now Giannis, to me, is knocking on the top 10 all time if he gets 3 MVPs. If he wins another championship this year, and he would definitely win the finals MVP, like, dude, now you really have to put Giannis top 10 level, top 12 level. He's like as accomplished as Hakeem if that happens.
You know how you get we did this stuff about like, the NBA content and like, how Charles and Shaq are kind of the face of it. Are we kind of in that same boat now with cards?
Say more about what you mean.
Like the face of it is Charles, and it's kind of like the more entertainment value, high production, less serious, versus like the Bill Simmons, Russillo, Adam Lowe stuff.
Well, where do we want to be? That's the question.
Viewership, it's about views and money. So like to Adam's point, like the money kind of speaks where the the views are or whatever. But what do I want? I guess that's a different answer.
Yeah. I don't know. I like where we're at personally. I think we've got some great. I mean, I watched you try to walk more than 10 feet at a time in the Mint, and you couldn't without being stopped and confronted by a new business owner or a collector or somebody you want to talk. I mean, I just feel like we have a great audience. We have a great network. And, you know, we just, there's always room for growth. There's always ways to do things better. It's always great to be motivated. But I love what we do with our show right now as it is.
All right. Just bringing it up. I know Nick's like chomping at the bit watching this, so.
Well, plus, like, in order for us to pivot into doing more content, we'd have to, like, put aside the stuff that we spend a lot of time in right now, like you developing tech and software and, you know, me and Christina. Yeah.
That's what I'm proposing. It's like, you know, we ask certain people, maybe we should focus more on content. I love thinking about potential and pivoting into something. Like, we don't have to do it. We can play the scenario.
I propose if you and I were able to focus on content 24/7, I propose that you and I write a book together, and then I propose that you and I do interview circuits where, you know, we try to, because like some people are going to like me, some people are going to like you. You know, we have different styles, different approaches. And so I propose that we do those two things. And then, you know, we bring our content around like Adam Lefkoe said.
Yeah, I like how people are getting a sense of how different we are tonight.
Yeah, well, you know, we agree on a lot of things, but we come at them from different angles. And we have different histories and different things that we like. You know, I just think there's a lot. I think you can't, it all goes together. That's what I think. I think you bring the best out of me and I try to bring the best out of you. That's what I think. Yeah. Content does take patience. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it does take patience, but you're right, dude. There's a level up from here. I think that's right.
Dude, we dedicate 3 hours every Friday night of our prime of our 30s to these motherfuckers. Of course, it takes time.
Yeah, we do. That's very true.
Fucking 3 hours every Friday night of my mid-30s. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Do you want to get to some actual questions?
I mean, shit, we probably should, right?
Well, damn, there's some. We've just covered.
Give me the box score of the Lakers and just tell me that they lost because I already know fucking losers.
Oh man. Ooh. Yeah, the Lakers lost by 3.
Oh my god, dude, they're such trash. How many points did LeBron had? I have nothing left but the scoring title.
LeBron had 38, 8, and 4.
That's it? He had 2 points in the fourth quarter?
Dude, that's crazy.
He had 36 going into the fourth, bro.
Whew. Damn. Dude, fuck. I hope the Lakers make the play. I hope the Lakers and the Clippers make the play.
I don't. I'm tired of watching them. I'm so done with this year.
Yeah.
For them.
But wouldn't it just be so awesome if like it turned out that this regular season just didn't matter at all? Because I still think this is a formidable team in the playoffs.
Because the Suns are gonna roll them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably right. Okay.
They're gonna roll them. I would bet so much on the Suns rolling the Lakers.
All right. Well, mostly 90s basketball card says, under what circumstances, if any, is it okay to post a card on your Instagram page that you have already previously posted?
Oh, I think it's okay. You know, obviously, like within reason, space it out a little bit, maybe like a year or something.
A year? Yeah. And, you know, there's different contexts that can give occasion to post it again, you know? Like, yeah.
I think it's like, we know the difference, dude. Like, come on. Like, we know what we're talking about here. We're talking about, like, posting it every time your player has a good game so that you could sell it at peak versus, like, like you said, some new content stream or some new, like, inspiration to pull out your old collection. Huge difference.
Yeah, once a year is that's not a bad average. That's probably a good average. All right, Cards and Candy 911 says, these vaulting services, are they a way for us to gain more international buyers?
The eBay one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, the eBay, eBay brand is like very international. Like there's just like tons of international presence for eBay. So like that vault for sure. I think our company Collectors announced a vault this week as well.
Yeah.
Beckett announced a vault. eBay has a vault.
Yep.
I guess I don't know. I struggle with that one. I'm not sure. I don't have like a good answer.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a good answer either, but my buddy Kevin James, ironically, his Instagram is called the Sports Card Vault, but he's not a vaulting service. He just has a lot of cards. He gave a really interesting take on this. He said he's very excited about eBay's vault in particular, but all the vaults, because it's going to allow, you know what you said earlier, it'd be nice if we got back to like players who do well, their market goes up, players who don't do. This is going to allow for a more stock market-y experience, because you're taking away those frictions.
Liquidity, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the ability to instantly transfer stuff, instantly sell stuff, you know, instantly make it available, and at the scale that eBay is going to allow people to do it at is I can see why people are excited about that.
And the collector's vault, the purpose is more like, hey, you grade your card, you're worried about shipping it, and you want to just like keep it there before you sell it. So there's like a pretty good use case for, I've already shipped it to them, just keep it in the vault. Yep. And then when I'm ready to sell, it's still very liquid and ready to go.
Yep. Because look, you know, my 1,500 cards that are still there a year and a half later, many of those are intended to be sold. So I wouldn't mind being able to just never have to have them come back into my possession if I could just send them to a marketplace and get market value for them. All right. Cardboard Insight says, I love hobby research. Finding an ignored cool set is so satisfying.
Oh, amen. That's probably my favorite thing to do in the hobby.
What was the last one that you found that
it's been a while. Like I was really into the football thing for a while, and then I was doing like the status. I pulled you into status. That was fun.
Oh yeah. Status still a great bang for your buck product as well, like from the hobby box side of things.
Those die cuts are sick, man. And I like the numbering system on the status and the aspirations. It's been a while, dude.
Yep, I agree. That's fun. I also like discovering players who are not appreciated historically as well. Like, you know, dude, I could make a great case for collecting somebody. I don't know many people who collect John Stockton, but I could make a case for collecting that guy. Most assists and most steals. Not although I know South Park believes that he actually doesn't have anywhere near the number of assists that the record books say that he had.
He's also an exquisite, and he's in those late 90s sets.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a PMG green and a red and stuff, and he's got the rubies and the credentials. So, you know, but there's lots of players like that. Like Moses Malone was one of them, and I feel like there's other modern players who sort of have arguments that can be made for them. So yeah, great comments, Cardboard Insights. I honestly went a little too far afield discovering new sets in this like one-of-one pursuits of just like, oh my God, I have so many one-of-ones from different products. like, okay, we've gone down the rabbit hole.
How many one-on-ones do you have?
Of McCaffrey alone, I think I have about 40.
Just guess, like, total, though.
Total?
60?
I think 50? There's maybe 7 or 8 Lucas, and maybe like a few Le'Veons, maybe like 50 to 60, somewhere in there.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's not normal.
Hi, my name is Chris. I have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Big J Basketball says, is there anything we can do about certain recent eBay sales that don't show up in Card Ladder? I think he's talking about sales history. And so I've explained to some people, like, we get like 98% of sales, but we just miss a few of them for technological reasons. Do you want to say anything more about that?
Just send me the ID numbers. I was thinking about putting in like a system where they can like submit those to me, and I can like hammer them out every night or something like that. I'll think about that, but just send them to me for now, the IDs.
There you go. So if you spot an eBay sale that we're missing, send the eBay ID to Josh. And like, if you don't know how to find the eBay ID, just like Google it. Don't just ask us, please.
They have to be on eBay too. Like if you go to ebay.com/ITM/ and you put that number in and it gives you like a whoops page, like I can't help you. Like people send me ones that are like 10 years old and I'm like, eBay themselves doesn't have this data. How can I?
Good point. Hot Sauce Sports Card says, why do businesses in the hobby dump money into concepts that have no market or need? I love this one. This is another one of my issues.
Because they don't listen to their customers. And they don't know how. They just, this is their idea. They want to do what they think is right, and they don't listen to what people are asking for.
Yeah, it's so true. And also, I think that people don't have confidence. People want to get exposure to the sports card market, but they're not sure what cards to buy anymore. So the way that they believe they can get exposure to it is by starting a business. But what they fail to realize is that starting a business is a double exposure, because now you're not only relying on the hobby to succeed, but you're also relying on your ability to build a business and identify a need. You're relying on that to succeed as well. To me, it's always made way more sense to focus on investing in cards. But I am very grateful for the entrepreneurs and the business people who do invest in building out business infrastructure, because they could make better returns on cards, or at least historically that's been the case. But I think we could find ourselves in this bizarro world where everybody's building a business and investing money into their companies and their infrastructure and their little businesses, and nobody's actually buying the cards anymore. And then if that's the place where we end up, we have a huge problem. We have to remember what's at the heart of this industry, and it's collecting cards.
I posted that story from, I'm blanking on their name, but I shared their DMs that they sent me to my story, and it was saying what you just said. Like, there's been a lot of confidence that's grown in the products and the businesses that have popped up, but next is like we need to get a higher confidence in actually investing in the cards, and he's not sure we're there yet, given like the stuff we talked about tonight.
Yep, that was a great set of comments from that guy that you shared. Okay, Riverfront Collectibles says, can we talk about Probstein's trimmed listings? And here's what he's talking about. So Lameme James has shed some light on this. So here's a Scottie Pippen Rubies, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, definitely the greatest bull of all time. And this particular listing said 1997-98 Pippen likely trimmed. And then James defined the word likely for us as having a high probability of occurring or being true.
I just love the irony of it being like half of an inch away from a thing that says authenticity guaranteed. I mean, it's like, I guess you could separate the authenticity of the card from like the fact that it's trimmed, but like in general, card collectors deem something trimmed or altered to be like not really authentic. Like it's an asterisk on a card that kind of puts it in its own category that's not really authentic to them. They don't want it. I just find that to be ironic. Like, is CSG going to mark that as not authentic? How are they going to, or like, again, if you're not going to do a return for me on this authenticity guarantee thing because the card is like trimmed and the freaking seller says it's trimmed, I don't understand what you're doing for me. Like, what is the point of the service?
Fair enough. Although not like they have much of a choice, but I am glad that they are disclosing if a card is trimmed and they're putting it right there in the title. I'm glad that they're doing that. Okay. Ryan Campbell 206 says, what is the best way to find low population cards that you are looking for if they are not up for sale?
Patience, wait. Keep your eBay save searches on point. Check the card ladder shop frequently. I don't know, dude. You could just, that's the friction part of the hobby that's fun.
Yep.
Dude, if everything was easy to find, this hobby would suck.
This hobby would suck. If you could just go buy whatever you wanted whenever you wanted to. You can also be proactive as well. You can put out bounties. You can tell people what you're looking for. You can try and unearth the card, because sometimes you have to do it. Sometimes you have to be proactive and send people DMs and, not give up right away.
Start searching our showcase and then search Instagram and start like trying to find collectors. Ask those collectors of that player if they've seen the card. Try to find tags of that like set. There's different other like ways you could do it. It's hard though. It honestly just takes a lot of work.
Yeah. Do you have any picks for the Final Four? Frank32 wants to know.
I don't know anything about college basketball. I'll pick UNC because
Justin.
Because Justin and fuck Duke. You could just like say Duke sucks and like get a bunch of people on your side. That's like an easy way. Like the Yankees suck. I don't know who's in the other group. Villanova. I'll pick Villanova and UNC.
All right. Well, I have to go against UNC because they knocked out UCLA while I had my hoodie on.
How'd that happen?
It shouldn't have. A glitch in the Matrix.
You were probably too busy playing the field.
And so I'm going with Duke. And Duke has players, man.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, my God.
Ben Caro?
Yeah, that guy's sick, man. How is that guy done? He had a lot of NBA hype early in the season, and he must have, cooled off or something. But, dude, that guy's a problem.
He's my number one pick.
Oh, that guy's a freaking problem. All right. Rodman, did you end up getting the card that you were offering on that you told us about in Vegas?
Chris is this guy's got like a steel trap up in that noggin.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I see him in the chat. He seems real cocky. I feel like he might have got it. All right.
He's here to gloat. He's hoping you ask so he can slide into your DMs.
I think so. Rodman was only 45 minutes late to that dinner that we went to, so I got to give him props for that as well. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, another friendly reminder for everybody, because I myself screwed this up this week. When you send a picture in a DM, for the love of God, that's all that is holy, do the keep in chat option so I don't have to look at it. I have to click the button, and then it freaking disappears. Keep in chat. I'm not going to, just don't send me dick pics, and it'll be fine. Well, he did get it.
He did get it. What do we know everything?
Kind of.
Do we just know what's going on here? Congrats, Rodman. That's amazing, bud.
Monster.
Rodman always just surpasses me. That's what I hate. He is over. He's just always just has to be the best.
He even diverted into the stupid soccer. He still beat you.
Fucker.
Yeah, but you got something big coming too, bro.
Yeah, he won't be able to top that. All right. Chrome Slab says, how do we revive the mid to low end of the market?
I don't know. Buy more of it.
There you go. Yeah, I guess so. I get that is kind of the answer, isn't it? Are you worried about the mid to low end?
No. Eventually, a lot of the stuff that the question is referring to will get cheap enough where it will actually make sense to just buy that stuff up. It's there'll be PSA 10 stuff out there that's $6 for a PSA 10 rookie, sure, or whatever,
Fair point. Okay. Let's go for 10 more minutes and we'll be done.
I have to get up at 6:30 for a garage sale.
Oh Lord, are you having a garage sale?
Yes. I'm gonna go. What the fuck?
Are you selling things at it?
Yeah, it's just junk. It's not like cards.
What are you selling?
Oh my God, are you freaking trying to buy shit for me? I'm
No.
No. I don't know, our dining room table. We're getting a new one, so that's gone.
Okay, we could use those actually.
Kids' clothes, if I can fit those. I don't know, stuff.
Just
Done.
an old
That's
school
what-
garage sale. You know, do you think Gary Vee might show up?
Have you seen that parody video of the guy pretending to be Gary Vee? That's such a good video. I'm like, hey man, you're
The voice is just it. The voice is it.
Yeah.
And Gary tries to be a
Are you
great
been grinding, bro?
he tries to be a great sport about it, but it does like get to him a little bit that
Oh, I'm sure, dude. That would annoy me if someone was like
yeah.
making my voice sound like that. And stuff, I'd be annoyed.
All right, so you're hosting a garage sale. Are you gonna do any bartering? You know, or is it just straight cash only?
The goal of the garage sale is to end up with nothing left in my driveway, and I don't care how much money I make.
Okay, so this is a garage sale and a fire sale.
It's a fire sale. Don't tell anyone coming over tomorrow, but whatever doesn't sell, I'm taking to Goodwill.
That's great. Who spearheaded this, you or your wife?
Why do you got so many questions about like the neighborhood? It's actually a neighborhood garage sale.
Oh, okay. So you're just being a good neighbor. You're part of the community.
There's gonna be some competition, so you can sell the most. I'm gonna be looking across the street and be like, "Do you even sell, bro? Do you even sell? Like, do you even sell a garage sale? Do you even grind, bro?
You're pretty
You
good.
gotta be grinding 24/7. You gotta be on the phone. You gotta be making deals, bro."
I don't know if it's because you're sick or you're just good at this impersonation, but it actually has the tone, the nasal tone.
How have we not talked about the Will Smith thing yet?
Hold on. We're not moving off of the garage sale quite yet.
Damn it.
Is there a block party afterwards? Like a cookout?
There should be. It's getting warm here. It's getting hot here, so tomorrow might be too warm for that.
It snowed here yesterday in Illinois. It snowed.
That sounds amazing. That's why you're wearing the hoodies still.
Yes. It snowed. What the hell?
It was 87 degrees here today, so.
Ooh. All right, well, best of luck at the garage sale. Are you going to buy things from other garage sales then, too? Are you shopping? No.
Nope. I don't like things, dude. A garage sale's like my worst nightmare.
No, I know. I hate having surplus things. Christina is a master of surplus things. Christina will find corners to hide things I didn't even know existed. Just to have more things.
Things are bad.
Too many damn things. We need to do a garage sale. That's why I'm asking. I'm doing some fact finding right now.
This is smart. Okay, here's how you do it. You grab everything and you put a really low sticker price on it and then just let it go.
Fair.
Christina's in the chat. She's blowing your ass up.
What do you mean? This is true. This is so true.
Have you seen the minimalism documentary?
No.
Dude, I was like all into that minimalism stuff for a while. Still like it.
Okay. No, I like minimalism too. It's just not in my NFTs.
I mean, that's like
My crypto.
don't even take up any physical space. That's infinite, bro.
Yeah. All right. So you said we haven't even talked. Well, okay. So the Will Smith thing, we were together when
Live.
I was like, I have some content for you guys, and then Josh, you were like, I don't believe that it's real at first. You're like, this is staged.
It did look fake, man. And I thought Nick was agreeing with me though, and then we saw that other angle you showed us, and I was like, all right, it's real. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, what a moment for the Oscars. That's got to be.
I heard that Will Smith like left the Academy today or something.
Could be.
He did. It's a fact.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been following the fallout or whatever. What do you think about? What do you think about Chris Rock not pressing charges, not suing? Just letting it ride.
Yeah, I would have done the same.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not like it made Chris Rock look bad or anything. He took that slap very well.
The Bill Simmons pod, they're like, or maybe it wasn't Bill Simmons. It might have been something else I watched. They're like the winners of this whole scenario. The biggest winner is Chris Rock and that chin.
Yeah, Sasha says Chris Rock's knees didn't even buckle.
That's why I thought it was. But this is why I thought it was fake. Like he barely budged and like didn't really react, and it just felt like if it was a real slap, I felt like he would have done more. That's why I thought it was fake. But Chris Rock just took it, and also like when Will Smith was walking towards him, he like leaned in, like, "What? What are you coming up here to do?"
Yeah, I don't know.
He seemed confused.
Dude, Chris Rock is a guy who may have been smacked like that before. That's what I. That's what
we were when we were talking about whether it was real. We're like, look at his mouth, and then we rewound. It was like, oh, his mouth's always like looks like it took a shot.
He never even rubbed his face. That's right. That's right. He never even rubbed his face one bit. I don't know.
Stand-up comedian Tom Segura. He was like, Will Smith attacked all stand-up comedians today. You know, like Will Smith almost like gave people the balls to like go up to a stand-up comedian and just smack him or something. You know?
Yeah, comedians are very worried right now because here's the thing: comedians are supposed to be on the edge of what's acceptable to say. So if if suddenly there's actual real life penalties for saying edgy things that are very offensive, that's going to potentially, have a silencing effect on some of their comedic routines. And you shouldn't, it will censor them to a certain extent. And in a society where we really privilege free speech, there's probably a pretty good argument to be made that like, even if a comedian crosses the line, we don't want to incentivize people to smack the shit out of them, no matter what it is that they say.
The off-years, they're wearing tuxedos and he's getting smacked across the face. Like, so inappropriate.
Very inappropriate.
But we're in this, like you said, we're in this world where people are getting like canceled over what they say. Except comedians, they've got this little out where like Dave Chappelle has done some crazy stuff, and he's getting away with it because he's doing stand-up comedy.
You know what? I like that because that pivots into an interesting take, which is like in the aggregate, comedians have gotten away with so much that if one of them gets slapped every once in a while, it all evens out. You guys have license to say whatever the hell you want.
That night, you were definitely on that side of the take where you're like, maybe Chris Rock deserved to get slapped tonight.
Well, look, here's the thing. There's a penalty for slapping someone in the face. That's a crime. It's a serious crime. It's something that can land you in jail and you can have a lawsuit filed against you if there's damages done to the other party, a civil lawsuit. So, like, there's penalties for it. So, the society has decided what the proportionate penalty is for doing it. And if somebody says, hey, I'll take that penalty, it's worth it to me to do this, that's what the formula says. You know what I mean? But
also the other part that I want to say real quick is that he laughs right when Chris Rock first says the joke. Then he looks at his wife and goes, oh shit, I got to go up there and smack this motherfucker.
Yeah. That's the thing too, is like, there's something going on behind the scenes there,
And you guys told me about the whole thing those two have going on with like the open marriage and stuff. I didn't know any of that stuff. I don't know dick about Hollywood and actors and stuff, but you told me that and I was like, damn.
Yeah. Yep. Very.
I'd have been like, you get up there and smack him.
It's just weird. We live in this like there's been a lot of political theory scholarship dedicated to the idea that you can do as much violence with symbols and words as you can physically. There's even theorists who would advance the argument that psychologically torturing somebody through merely words and or symbols is, worse than slapping somebody in the face. There are people who would argue from that point of view. Now, we have a no-tolerance point of view in our society, to whereas you can say and ridicule and humiliate a person through words however much you want, but you better not even breathe on them, or else you have violated, the holy rule of never physically interact with another person. But there's actually been a lot of scholarship done in the realm of political theory about the violence that words and symbols can do systematically and individually to people, not just words. I mean, not just not just hitting. So like the old sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That old trope.
Yeah. Would you rather have someone like trolling you on the internet endlessly, or just get slapped one time?
Exactly.
Have you ever been slapped?
I've been slapped in the last week.
Let's try to figure out who it was. Let's get on the case. What's that like? Ooh.
Stiff Arm Wax says, what if we had free violence and no free speech? No, and also, like, you don't want people to ever feel unsafe, you know? That's the thing. But people take advantage of that culture, and then they will use it to just say the edgiest, most ridiculous thing. Like, there are certain words that if you say to certain people, we actually don't think it's the craziest thing in the world if they hit you back. So
right. I think the reason that we brought up the whole, like, you know, sticks and stones thing is, like, yeah, it's just a slap. But, like, the violence can go a lot further in long-term damage than the words, I think. So, like, we know the words can be really, really bad, but if you stop at a slap, it's like, all right, whatever, you slap me.
Yeah. There's going to be an overreaction now to the slap from Will Smith. Like, you know, people are acting like Will Smith just, you know, resurrected Jesus and crucified him again. And
if he would have slapped Chris Rock backstage, nothing would have happened. No,
probably not. But yeah, it was just people, like, that moment, like, traumatized people.
Violence on TV, oh my God.
I know. But, you know, it's just a tough situation, man. You know, comedians take it all the way there sometimes. They just go all the fucking way. And so if once in a while they get smacked, like, in the grand scheme of things, I think it evens out.
I kind of loved it. I mean, if we can keep the line at smacking people, it's like, yeah, some people deserve to get smacked. I probably deserve to be smacked once or twice in my life.
I've deserved to be smacked once or twice in my life as well.
Definitely many times thinking back to my childhood that I deserve to be slapped. I was slapped far less than I should have been. Like, oh yeah? Yeah, Dad, you think so? You think you're right? Dude, man, like, someone should have slapped me right there.
That's such a refreshing take. That's where we go with it. It's like, maybe we should get slapped once in a while too.
Yeah. Dude, at a card show, I start mouthing off about LeBron's better than Jordan. Just smack me.
Rodman was going hard in the other direction when we were in Vegas. Does Rodman always troll like that against LeBron? I don't know. I feel like he might.
He likes to get a rise out of me.
You don't give it to him, though. You ignore it for the most part.
I'm so used to it. It's just like, it's nauseating how used to it I am. I should start smacking people.
That's right. Yeah, dude, it's pretty...
So he did like an open hand, like this way. The backhand one's pretty good, too.
Yeah, you just have to be careful. You can you can fracture bones in your hand. Like, it's just... The real blow to deliver, it's not a slap, but the hammer, you know, with this part of the fist, and then you don't do injury to yourself, yeah.
Just like a bonk. Yeah, people are going to, like, start taking notes on how to, like, harm other people now. This is bad.
No, this is not advice on how to do violence. Just
how to do violence? No, clearly, just for that sentence
alone. By that sentence alone. By the way, when they were introducing Peyton and they said that his nickname is the Sheriff, Peyton has 2 nicknames, all right? If you go to his football reference, he has 2. The other one is the Caveman. And I thought they were going to give him the nickname the Caveman because the forehead, you know. But
dude, when you were talking about Manning, I was kind of like doing this for a while and you didn't really catch it.
Oh, no.
Going for the big old Manning forehead.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, well, look, you have a garage sale early in the morning.
I'll film it for you so I can help you out.
Or, you know, maybe just a little action shot. You know, it doesn't need to be filmed. It just be some pictures, a hashtag thank you sports cards or something like that. That might be awesome.
I'm taking all that money that I make from this garage sale and I'm going to go buy, like, a fraction of a card, you know, something cheap.
Let's go. Speaking of fractions of cards, shout out to Collectible. Shout out to David Marino, Ezra Levine, Christina, and Ty of the Bullpen, you know, for all the effort and the work they did to make the Mint Collective an awesome show. I forgot to mention them earlier. Just want to give them some airtime now.
And Christina.
Great job, you guys. Okay, that's going to do it for tonight. It was 2 weeks. Did it feel long? Did it feel like it was a long time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. but we're back now.
Oh, next Friday, I'm going to be out ski.
Oh, no. You're out on Friday, April 8th?
Correct. I'm going to Disneyland.
Oh, so what are we doing then? The Thursday the 7th?
It might have to be live from Disneyland.
Oh, okay. So you're not saying, so you can still do it on the night of April 8th.
I have my own hotel room. Let's go.
We better do it then just to keep an eye on you.
Live from Disneyland.
You and Josh Luber just, the hobby's just patronizing Disneyland like crazy right now.
Dude, Disneyland's dope. They should get free pub.
It's all right. I don't ride rides, so. Yeah.
What? That's like all it is.
I know.
You just like go hang out with Mickey?
I just go see Mickey, go to the Lego store. You know, that's about it.
I'm not going to Disneyland with you. That sounds horrible.
Oh, I wouldn't recommend going to Disneyland with me. I wouldn't recommend doing many things with me. Just as a general. All right. Well, next crossover, half of us will be live from Disneyland. There's 74 of you on right now, which is a little ridiculous, but we're going to go ahead and end this and give you guys back the rest of your night.
A lot has changed since Card Ladder began. We started with 500 cards in our database, and now we have over 3 million cards and over 30 million sales.
For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
With Card Ladder's sales history feature, we have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history, and you can add a card to your collection with just one click.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Plus, every card, no matter the last time it sold, has an estimated value that we calculated using our state-of-the-art player indexes. Unlike other apps, when you see Card Ladder's verified checkmark, that means a researcher personally vetted each and every sale.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors.
Know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder 2.0, constantly innovating. Try it for free. See why Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Card Ladder 2.0.